Welcome back to all of our Arsenal, and of course, we are back again in the Premier League review show, where we take our close look at all the 10 games that are playing in the Premier League, discuss about them, and give our expert analysis. As you can see, our panelists are in the show. We have Tino. How are you doing, brother? Good to see you. He's doing so well. Like I see, he's even enjoying his pint. That's so nice.
No,
We have
you
the
have to you have to bear with me. I mean, I'm out and about, but I said I must join the stream.
no, and I really appreciate you for that. Thanks, brother. We have Mr. Chike in the chat. Welcome back, bro. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. Good evening to you all. It's morning for me. Enjoying my coffee. I like some.
Yeah. So that's all about the whole time zone stuff. Achike is in Canada right now, and of course we have someone making his debut on the channel. Ebuka, welcome, bro. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm good, man. Like, yeah, good to connect here to review all that's happened over the weekend. Yeah, here in Canada, Toronto to be precise, and yeah, I think it's 3 p.m. here. So, yeah, after this, I might just go out and just get some beers.
Okay, so I guess Tito are giving you the inspiration. So
I mean, no, we defeated Chelsea, bro. Like, we defeated Chelsea, man. We defeated Chelsea. That was a celebration.
Okay, so here's the Gameweek 5 review, and as always, we'll look to the agenda together. We'll look at the Arsenal match review first, then we'll look at our title rivals, see how they panned out. We'll look at other key fixtures in the competition this week. We'll take a closer look at the surprise of the week. We have our injury watch, and of course, players of the week. Look at the table, and of course, see what's next in Gameweek 6. We also have our guys in the chat already. We have Dan. He says he can't win. Good to see you, brother. We also have Sam the Guru, who was a panelist last week Sunday. And it was like Tino celebrating a 1-1 draw. The game is gone. Okay. So let's start with the Arsenal game. So the Arsenal match review. And we are familiar with Arsenal drew 1-1 with Man City. So Tino, I will start with you on this one. What was your take on the starting lineup? Did Arteta get it wrong?
So the starting lineup was typical Mikel. You know, the manager. Every manager has a flavor. Mikel will always defer to seniority in the squad or caution. So I felt that Waneri could have started the match in place of Merino. The playing with Trossard was fine by me, but I just felt that playing Merino was a bit too cautious. I don't know whether caution is the word, but we could have been more, ambitious with the lineup. But I guess he wanted so the goal that the team considered was the kind of goal that lineup is meant to prevent. So at the end of the day, the lineup didn't, stop what it should have stopped. And you now had to change it around and put yourself, you're in the back foot. So I think it's better to, always start the game in the right foot. But I'll give him a stock rising for the second half. He changed it around and he was willing to throw in all the forwards and all the strikers when it was when the game required called for that. So fair results. I mean, not a fair result. Arsenal should have won, but these games are not the games that you win it or lose the title for.
Okay, I
Fine.
agree with you.
I'm not a fan of the lineup, but he got it good right later.
Okay, awesome. So Achike, let me ask you this question. In all your years watching football, have you ever seen Man City defend the way they did, bringing on to defensive midfielders, going 5 at the back, taking out Haaland to put in Doku? What was your take on Man City defensive stance in the game towards the second half?
I mean, I think specifically you're talking about Pep Guardiola's Man City because I've been watching Man City since the days of Paul Dickov, Sean Gota. So I'm sure because I remember. So let's Man City. No, yeah, it was a game that it's Arsenal at the Emirates. Some of these times we have as fans we have things in our head and we forget that these managers have to think about things long term. I'm sorry if you feel Arsenal are main title rivals, title challengers, and all that. Man City playing defensive at the Emirates is not a bad way to go. It's the same thing that happened a few weeks ago. Arsenal losing to Liverpool. And people were like, oh my God, this shows whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry. Liverpool playing Liverpool is one of the two of the toughest games you're going to have all season. Losing 1-0 is not a shame. So it's the same attitude I want to go here. And at Man City, we're like, okay, their results recently, yeah, they beat Man United. They won during the week. But their performances have not been crazy. I mean, they beat Man United, but until that second goal, that game was a bit on the edge. So considering Arsenal are meant to be a much better team, playing defensive, which is a state of mind, personnel is different. So yes, defensive personnel, but like you could see, like Tino said, the goal they scored was the goal that this lineup, Arsenal's lineup, was meant to prevent. On the break, Haaland, Reinders, Haaland, and all that. So Arteta did what he was meant to do. Pep did what he was meant to do. He was getting a result up until the 93rd minute. So it's one of those things where yes, you play according to the game in front of you. People think Pep is not a pragmatic coach. He's one of the most pragmatic coaches in football. He changes his team and his philosophy regarding the opponent he's playing. So I wasn't surprised about it at all.
Okay, thanks, Achike. So, Ebuka, let me ask you this question. Martinelli has come in on the sub twice now to, score very vital goals for his side. The initial goal against Athletic Bilbao, and of course the equalizer here. And obviously, it was under some stick from the fans for him to get out of the team. Do you feel that his performances so far has warranted him to start in the next game?
No, not at all. So Martinelli, I've always said it that as a starter, he's not so good, right? He finds it difficult most times, as in those 1v1 situations, beating his man. But then, and I always said, like, if Arsenal wanted to take things forward, right, that Martinelli shouldn't be a starter. But when you bring Martinelli in, as in the later stages of the game against tired legs, right? And in this instance, yes, you could say City were like tired because they were just like on the defensive. And the ball up top, Martinelli just running through the defense and then scooping a nice good finish over Donnarumma. I would say caution because he's more of like a finisher, and that's the word like Arteta uses. Arteta doesn't like I read somewhere, I saw something online where Arteta said that this season it's gonna be starters and finishers. He prefers not to call his subs like substitutes, right? It's like a relay race. So someone starting the relay race and someone finishing the relay race, right? Because from what I could see, Arteta was taking different tidbits from different sports, from rugby, from I think NFL and all of that, right? So now Martinelli, I think implementing that attitude or that approach, as in the past two games, bringing on subs like Bilbao, Trossard, Martinelli, like they basically finished the game, and now Martinelli came in, finished the game. So yeah, it's a very good approach, but as a starter, nah, I won't have him starting Arsenal games.
Okay, thanks, Ebuka. So we have Kelechi Anunu in the chat. He said, when are we going to look under the shiny scores, under the caps? This is not the time for this right now. This is actually not the time for this. So, Tino, let me ask you this question. Let's talk about Man City for a little bit. The back line was Nico O'Reilly, Abukabir, Kushanov, Ruben Diaz, and Joseph Vadio. With all the money spent, don't you think they should have done better in getting better fullbacks?
Well, you see, it depends on what you say. Better fullbacks. They got Ainuri, who was injured. That's why he didn't play. I think he was going to be the starting left back. And then on the right, it's one of those situations where even in the days when Kyle Walker was bombing down there, he sometimes, when the shape changed, used to perform as a third center back when the left-sided left back would go up and all that. So it's one of those things where Pep Guardiola, he adapts to the situation. He's put that whole thing of having, four center backs at the back, which Mikel Arteta is playing as well. And I mean, Calafiori is a center back by trade. Timber, well, center back, right back, defensive mid, just an all-round quality guy. So it's one of those things where you invest in a situation where you look at, in the worst case scenario, if I have injuries in this particular place, who can I put in there to cover? So I think it's one of those things where, yes, there were some rumors that they were going for some other right backs and left backs, but I don't think in Pep's mind it was something that was of utmost priority because of the way they attack it. Anyway.
Okay, thanks, Achike. So, Ebuka, let me ask you this question. Has Manchester City's fear factor truly gone? Like, in recent games, let's look at the season as we started so far. They played against Wolves. That's a routine win. They hosted Tottenham, lost the game. Visited Brighton and also lost. And of course, they smashed Manchester United before this game. So, looking at how Manchester City have been playing so far, do you think they have that fear factor that they used to have when they were champions of England?
The fear factor, has it really gone? I would say it's not as imposing as it used to, right? Because one thing you need to understand is the main guys they had, as in when they won four in a row, those main characters, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, and Ederson and the rest, right? They've all gone. So it's more of like this is Pep's next phase,
Like a
right?
transition, yeah?
Exactly like an evolution. So he's brought these new faces in, and I remember, yeah, and I'm looking at it like 2025. I'm not looking at it from in 2025 because remember the January transfer window. They brought in Kusano, they brought in Victor Reyes, they brought in
Reis, yeah.
Gonzalez, yes, and
Mamouche.
then Mamouche, and then this summer, right? They brought in Nuri,
Reinders.
they brought in Reinders. So,
Check.
so exactly, Ryan Cherky. So the thing is, I think right now, yeah, injuries have been a problem. The players are still getting to know each other because you have to look at how many players did they bring in this in 2025 one. I think they're 8 or 9. So it's an evolution. And then one key thing you need to look at is the backing staff. So we've got, as in the Pep and Pep, right? So Pep Linders coming in, I could see traces to City's game, which I've never seen before. Like City were kind of like pressing, like they were really running after the ball, right? So, and I looked at this Arsenal game and I was like, okay, is City trying to move on from that tiki-taka possession approach and then just go for verticality? Is that what City is trying to do? And it's just some few games into the season with Pep Linders as Pep's assistant, but one key thing you need to take away is getting Donnarumma. Donnarumma is not necessarily good on the ball, right? He's more of like those hoof it up forward.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Luis Enrique got rid of him at PSG. So the Donnarumma signing is making me think, okay, are these guys going to go more vertical than they used to? You understand? And looking at it, it's quite early days, but I think Pep might just be evolving from the tiki-taka possessive type of football to verticality. But it's something, yeah, the next few weeks would at least provide us more insight about.
Okay, thank you. So actually, let me ask you this question. So we have a chat from Doye. Doye is also one of our regular panelists. Good to have you in the chat, bro. Doye says that City were there for the taking. Arsenal needed to start the game more aggressively, and slots may be the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool this season. Let's take it one after
Slot.
the other.
I'm sorry, man. I've never rated on a slot.
So actually, the first question here is, the way you watched the game, was City there for the taking? One, and two, was Arsenal's approach less aggressive as it was supposed to be?
I mean, I'm not sure the game he watched because Arsenal started very well. The first half, Arsenal almost had a better first half than second half. I mean, they had all the possession. They had, I mean, I'm not sure I get the point. City are there for the taking in the respect that, I mean, Arsenal finished ahead of City last season in the league. City have a raft of injuries. You know, Mamouche, Cherki, a couple of people missing. Arsenal has injuries as well. And yes, Arsenal were there at home. So everybody has that expectation. But I'd like to turn this over to the example I gave earlier with the Liverpool example is that, I'm sorry, like, City are still a big team and they have to be taken lightly, if you understand what I mean. Arsenal started quite aggressively, in my opinion. I mean, they had all the possession, they were doing the attacking. City's goal was from their first shot, if I remember correctly. That was their first shot. And we know Donnarumma made quite a few saves in the first half. So, I mean, I think Arsenal played the game the way they should. Now, there could have been some tweaks here and there, but like Tino mentioned, starting with Merino and Zubimendi could have been a bit different. But then City still have a strong midfield. Although I think Rodri might be getting, people have started targeting Rodri a bit. Like United targeted him a lot in the first half of the game last week, and they got some, they got some shot thrift off him and all that. And then the one thing I would point out that looked a bit off was, taking off Madueke
Yes.
because he was having fun. He was having a good time, with the left back. But the point is, Saka is Saka. If you have Madueke playing and Saka can come on and do something, you have to go with it. I mean, we have to remember these coaches have to think about so many things long term. And look at it from this other point of view. Watching Madueke take on the left back, right? And I think we all agree Saka is a better player than Madueke. Yes. Wouldn't you think you'd be like, let me bring Saka on now? Because obviously this left back is there for the taking.
Yeah.
So, people don't look at it that way as well.
Exactly. I agree with you because there's a comment from Doye that I want Ebuka to speak about. He said, after taking off Madueke may send the wrong message to the French players. He was the best player for Arsenal in the first half, or he got put up at halftime. My own thought process was that with Saka coming on, Madueke should have gone to the left flank to really attack the guy on the left flank for Saka on the right flank. I don't think it was a good approach taking him out during halftime the way he played. So, what do you think about that? Was that a good approach?
Ebuka is frozen. I think Ebuka is frozen.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Not to hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I said Madueke in the first half, right? He was the best player on the pitch. And I actually thought, okay, even if Arteta was supposed to make that change, okay, you hold on to probably 59, 60 minutes, see how he does first 15 minutes of the second half, and then hook him up, because time and time again, he was just on City's case. Like, he was just on it. But in terms of sending a bad message to the French players, not really sure if that sends a bad message to the French players, because everybody's going to get games this season, right? And I think Arsenal has a League Cup game coming up, so everyone's going to see games. You understand? Arsenal has a huge squad. There's that depth to that squad, and this is just the first of many, and it just shows, okay, you know what, you guys just have to up your game. If you're not taking your game to the optimal level, the way the gaffer wants it to be, then you probably might just get hooked up. You understand? But then at the end of the day, bringing Saka on, was Saka that instrumental? Was it better than Madueke in the first half?
Not really.
Madueke really owned it in the first half, and I think he should have gotten more minutes than what he got.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So can I just say something here? Just going on that point about French players being, I think this is a modern football phenomenon, and also, part of that thing we say the game's gone. I'm sorry. Taking off a player for an obviously more senior and better player should not send a bad message. That football is a hierarchical sport. And I think it's this modern day thing where once you've made a few appearances in the first team, you think you've made it and all that. It's like the same way with Man United this year. People were saying, because Amorim. Wait, let me finish. Because Amorim told Menu that he's fighting with Bruno where he plays and he wants to go on loan. Are you okay? Saka is vice captain and arguably Arsenal's best player, right? Now, hooking him up at halftime is because you also want to give him those early minutes that a substitute needs to get into the game. Let's say it happened in the 60th minute, right? And he needs 15 minutes to get into the game, rhythm of the game. That's the 75th minute. Then he only has 15 minutes to do anything. Now, moving him to the left. No, you keep Trossard there because Trossard is more defensively sound than Madueke. And that right-hand side of City's, the Bernardo Silva side and all that, Trossard was doing a lot of work there, coming back, getting the ball. Because you know how dirty Bernardo Silva is. You need someone who can match him dirt for dirt, which Trossard was doing. And again, managers make the decisions they feel are best for the team. None of us, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but no Arsenal fan wanted to win that much more than Arteta wanted to win that match. So he's not trying to sabotage his team. He's doing what he feels is best for his team. And sending a bad message to French players that you brought on the best player to play 45 minutes that he was fit enough to play. Come on, give me a break.
Okay. So I think before I go to the next feature, let's talk about a couple of comments on the chat. So Kelechi was saying you had to look at the City keeper hoofing the ball away in tears. If you remember when you had to see at Man City, he was flushed away for Bravo because of this same
Claudio Bravo.
It's gone full cycle, bro. It's gone full cycle from half now to the hoof the ball.
It's like a full cycle, I agree. So Sam De Guru said that Madueke performed better than Saka, the best player on the pitch. Saka didn't really do any better. Arguably, that's correct. Then we also have a comment from Uche Naude. Welcome, Uche. He said Arsenal's lineup was wrong. I think I just to take out Madueke just like that, you know. Then we have Jano and Obajide. He was like, Arsenal is now playing with the squad. We need to start appreciating the usage of strength and depth. And this aligns with what you're saying, Machike. Madueke was a good player, but it's not about his performance. Okay, so I think we have kind of really dealt a lot on Arsenal versus City. Let's move on to the next fixtures. So now we're going to go to our title rivals watch, where we see how the other Arsenal title rivals played in the course of the game week. And we're going to start with Liverpool Everton. So, Ebuka, this question goes to you. When will Liverpool's luck run out? Because at this point, I'm getting tired of these close results every game. Bournemouth 2-2 game, a late goal. Newcastle 2-2, a late goal. Arsenal 0-0, a late goal. Burnley, I don't want to talk about Burnley. That penalty.
Atletico Madrid, right? Let's go.
So what's going on? Like, is it champions mentality, or is it just luck?
First of all, you get to a point where your luck is going to run out if you don't close games as early and on time, right? It definitely is going to run out. And so far for Liverpool, yes, you have to credit them, right? They just keep going. Even after the 90th minute, you keep going, try to get the winner, right? Almost reminiscent of when United used to get Fergie time. So is this like, I said, the slot machine time? Well, we don't know if this is the slot machine time, but I think Liverpool have flaws to their game. Right now, yes, I understand they are getting the results as in late into the game, but for how long will you be able to do that? Secondly, like Liverpool concede a lot of goals, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get a decent chance against them, it's very likely that you could convert them. And like they say, defenses win titles, attack wins games, right? So the question is, when are they gonna clean up at the back? When are they gonna set up their defensive structure in the shape where cut out those easy goals? But in the game yesterday, right? Yes, quick 2-goal lead, and then Everton came fighting back into the game. One thing I have to say is Ekitike is a very good striker, very very good striker. Sometimes I ask myself the question, like, okay, why the hell did they sign Isak? Right. But yeah, squad depth and all of that. It's going to be as a rotation, but I think Liverpool, they need to sort out the defense. They really need to, because if they don't, they're going to be found wanting one day.
Okay, so Achike, what's your take on this Ekitike versus Isak drama?
Okay, before we get into Ekitike versus Isak, I just need to point something out that people, defense doesn't win championships, attacks win championships. In the history of the Premier League, the team that has scored the most goals has won the Premier League, I think, 65 or 70% of the time. And it's only been like 20% of the time that the team that had the best defense. And then the rest was the team that won the league had the best attack and best defense. And the important thing here, as much as I hate to say anything positive about Liverpool, because I hate the bloody Scousers, Liverpool are not coming back to win these games. They've been ahead in every single game they've played. They've played 6 games this season, Champions League and League. Yeah. They've kept 2 clean sheets. So against Burnley and somebody else. In the rest of the games, they took 2 against Arsenal.
Burnley and Arsenal.
No, I actually forgot which team it was. I honestly did forget which team it was. Unless I'm mistaken, Liverpool have not been behind this season. So it's an easy way to say, they're lucky because they are winning by the odd goal. But they were 2-0 up, I think, against Atletico. Then 1-0 up, 2-1, then 2-2. Then they scored a late minute winner. And then against who was it? Against Bournemouth, wasn't it 2-0, then 2-1, then 3-1, then 3-2?
No, it's against Bournemouth. 2-1, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2.
3-2, then 3-2, 4-2. Yeah, so you see, Liverpool have not been behind this season. And you hate to say it, what we're calling luck is mentality. I mean, we saw this under the great, under the great Alex Ferguson side. They always feel they can score, and that is what they're doing. So it is, trust me. I mean, it's interesting to put it in the sense that, oh my god, they're lucky, they're getting these results. They're 2-0 up, they're cruising. The team hit one back. They try their best to get one back and go back ahead. So I don't think it's as bad as it is. About the Isak and Ekitike thing, I mean, like I said, if when you're in many competitions, you're always looking towards, you're going to play what, 60 games a season. There's rotation options. I mean, if we look at the left side of Liverpool's attack, where Gapo currently plays, Isak and Etikite can both play there. So there'll be times where the team will be rotated, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Like I've just seen someone just wrote it now. It's a good problem to have. It's like having two top strikers, having Real Madrid have Mbappe and Vinicius that both want. They even had Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo that all want to play from the same side of the pitch. It's not a
Yeah.
problem. It's not a big problem at all.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So there was a comment that Joye also made that slots in-game adjustment is the best in the league right now. Last season, Liverpool won many games in the second half. Slot balances names with performance when making adjustments. So, in terms of the tactics, Ebuka, where do you feel Liverpool are right now? Do you think that with every game that Slot goes into, he stands a good chance of winning, or at the time when he has to adjust himself as each games progress?
Well, yeah, I completely agree with what Doye wrote in the chat in terms of in-game adjustments, as in slots reading of the game and making those substitutions. Remember, he did it against Bournemouth, bringing on Chiesa, and then Chiesa as a killing of the game. And when they had no right back, when Frimpong was injured, like Soboslai as playing right back and then inverting into midfield. I saw that as in a very, very good tactical masterstroke because it allows Liverpool, right, to kind of like dominate the midfield areas. Um, However, right, one thing I would actually say about Slot is one, he's got players available at the moment. I don't think injuries have actually decimated Liverpool that much because sometimes when, as in, you get those injuries, and of course they will come, that's when you need to like, okay, what have I got available, and how can I utilize as what I have available in these games? And it's going to happen, right? We see it currently happening with City, like City's injuries roster. As in Arsenal, yes, as in you can see Odegaard, Saka out, and I think some other players as in being injured for Arsenal. But then, yeah, the question is when those injuries come, how are you going to adapt? And yeah, so I'm keeping my eyes wide open to see what happens when such scenarios occur.
Okay, thanks. So we have MC Moore. Welcome back, bro. So let's talk about Everton for a little bit. So far, they have been quite dynamic in their attacking play. You know, when they're under Shandage, they're more sit-down football. But the Moyes has come in with the likes of Grealish, Ndiaye, and Dewsbury Hall behind the key striker. Where do you think Everton will finish this campaign? Do you think they can make Europe?
If Everton can go all the way if they keep their players fresh. The trio of Jack Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and Iliman Ndiaye is very potent if you think about it. Mobility, creativity, and they don't like to sit back. What they need to do is to work on their defense and also try to get cover in January. That would be very important. If you do those two things, why not? They can make the conference league.
Okay, thanks. So
I think I think I think Everton has cover like way more than they used to. Like because this summer was great for them. I mean, they got in Grealish, they got in Dewsbury Hall, they got in Tyler Dibling, they got in Barry, Tiano Barry, as in the
Mhm.
French under 23 international, who's very good. So I think, yeah, compared to previous Everton campaigns, right? I think they've got way more squad cover than they've ever had. And one surprising thing about Everton previously is because is one Everton are those is that team that really doesn't score much goals. But now you see Everton scoring and conceding.
Yeah,
Previously, they don't score and they concede less. So you're almost seeing Everton like being turned on its head. But the thing is, Everton making Euro, man, Jack Grealish is a super player, and I think, yeah, they might be able to make it to the top eight after years of finishing in the bottom half of the league.
Okay, so Achike, Everton has always been renowned for their defensive performances, and with Joran Brantwaite still out injured, I don't think Michael Keane has done enough alongside Tarkowski to keep that defense intact. Do you think Everton's defending as a unit is tied to the performances of Tarkowski and Brantwaite, or do you think other people need to put in the work to do better? Because right now, I think they're only one clean sheet or so.
Yeah, no, they definitely have to put in the work to do better. But two important factors in that is that they have one of the best keepers in the league. Whether you like him or not, Jordan Pickford is an excellent keeper. They have one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. Idrissa Ganagay is still a quality defensive midfielder. And then, at his age, he's still doing fantastically. They've got James Garner. They've got I think their strength will be in their midfield in the sense that, yes, being solidly defensively is point, but it's because they defend as a team. Like you can see people like Ndiaye tracking back, Drewsbury Hall is tracking back.
Yeah.
Even Jack Grealish gives he does his own little stint in there and all that. And it goes back to the days where having a solid center back. They more like Everton teams, Moyes teams. Their center backs look good as a result of the team around them. Like if you remember the teams of the mid 2000s, Gravenberch, Gravison and what's his name? The guy that was England under 21 man, Lee Carsley and all that. The center backs there were like Jagielka, Joseph Yobo. They were not the best in the world, but they were solid enough, and the unit was solid enough that it came to fruition. And then he is always, because people always, I don't know where people get this thing that Moyes is a defensive-minded coach as well, because he's always had the flair players in there as well. We had the Tim Cahills then, and then Rooney and all of that. It's one of those interesting things. And if you look at his West Ham team, as solid as you see they were, he was one that had Paqueta, Kudus. He goes for those kind of players. But
I won the conference.
Okay, I mean, they won the conference, even with, Declan Rice, who's now at Arsenal, who is as strong as he is defensively. You wouldn't just call him a defensive player. He's a box-to-box midfielder in the, Steven Gerrard mold, So I think, Everton Moyes is a very good manager. The Man United stint tainted his career a bit, then going to Real Sociedad and all that. But I think...
and then Sunderland.
Yeah.
He did okay. But, when you go to these smaller teams, regardless of where you're coming from, what is Sunderland's expectation? What was really the expectation there? Did he get relegated with them? No. Did you understand what I mean? Sometimes because of, the churn of managers, we sometimes have unrealistic expectations. Like, after a while, the manager's doing okay, and then fans get greedy and they want something more. Like they did in West Ham. Wouldn't West Ham be happy to be qualified for the Conference League now and get winning trophies? Yeah, what was the more they wanted, But
hold on, you cannot mock them for wanting more. They got
yes,
to an European final. They won the league. They won the Conference League. They had a platform to want more.
No, I disagree with that.
I disagree. Yeah, I completely disagree.
Are we really faulting fans for saying that their team should be ambitious?
There's ambition. No, there's ambition.
So I know. I don't disagree that they may have been unrealistic, but the tone of saying they wanted more, it's more like mockery. Why is that?
It was mockery because
it's ambition.
What they should want is not the best they've ever had, but consistently good.
That's it. Just be consistent.
West Ham came what? They came
hold on. This is the West Ham team that has also finished in the top 10 in the Premier League about 4 times in the last 10 years.
It's
do you think that now? Hold on, do you think that maybe these fans looked at the Conference League that season as not enough progress in their eyes? And do you fault them for that? Do you fault them for that, really?
Yes, I fault them for that, yes. Fans, I'm sorry, fans, you are allowed to dream, but you cannot demand.
Exactly.
Let me explain.
But the fans have never had a position to remove a manager. Let's not mix these things up. The fans can dream. The board makes the decisions.
No. But they make the decisions a lot.
Are you telling me? Are we now saying that the board listens to the fans? Is that what we're saying? Yeah. Really? Are we going to make this argument right now? That the board feels the pulse of the fans to make decisions of sacking a manager?
Of course, they do.
It plays a role. Yes, it plays a very big role, actually, bro. In many times.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. let me explain where I'm coming from, because you have to understand that a lot of us, especially fans that are not there in the stadium, right? We don't feel the pressure that is happening in the stadium when your own fans are giving energy, booing, singing songs that are against the manager, because the board fears that next thing these guys will stop paying for tickets and stop coming.
Yeah, and it affects their money. True. And it happens a lot.
They'll stop buying shirts. They'll become disillusioned with the team. Now
Yeah.
they'll be like, okay, because a lot of
I,
people
I
advised
really
us.
don't remember. I really don't remember any grand protest against Moyes after that final. We are talking
No,
like
but he didn't leave after the final. That's the mistake you're making now. Wait, he left the
After the
season
final.
after. You're mixing your years.
exactly. That's my
That's my
point.
point.
Where was he that season when he left? When
where
he
was he?
left? Yeah,
Where
where
was
was
he?
he? Where was West Ham?
What position was he in the team? What position was
Where
he?
was West Ham?
Moyes
They were like
Was
top
West Ham doing fine? Was Moyes sacked? Was Moyes sacked and missed a good run?
No, okay. No, of course
He
of
wasn't.
course sacked and missed a
He
good
left
run,
at the
right?
end. No, he didn't renew his contract. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, he left at the
Check
end of the
your.
season.
Check what happened there.
You know why I asked the
Moyes was not
question? Because
sacked.
I know
Wait.
I know that after the final, I didn't have fans calling for his head.
Moyes,
We
that's
all
what we're
know that.
saying. That's
They
what.
celebrated him
Wait,
like a god.
hold on. You're mixing things up. Moyes was not sacked. His
Yeah.
contract, they did not renew his
They
contract.
didn't renew his contract.
Yes, he won
Okay.
the Conference League. And
Yeah.
then the last year of his contract, fans were saying, "Oh boy, we won Europa League, Euro Conference League, we want better football, we want this, we want that, we want that."
And
Again,
then
was
now
just
struggling.
jejely.
Yeah.
And based on that, the board didn't renew his contract and went for somebody as supposedly more exciting in Lopetegui, who they've now sacked.
Who they sacked?
But my point is that at that point, West Ham was struggling.
No,
Could
they were
it
not
be that they
struggling.
were struggling? Could it be? You guys are saying the fans. Like I find the connection so strange.
No, it
If this was
it does actually.
well, okay,
It does.
but I know that for most of the
West Ham came ninth when Moyes left. That is good. A good season for the manager that took you to your first trophy. Ninth. Are you kidding me? West Ham they should renew a manager that kept them at ninth.
Yeah.
no. See, personally, I feel Moyes is not a bad manager for West Ham personally. But again, I say it like I don't think I can fault fans for wanting more.
I can fault them for wanting
we,
more.
we, we, we see we look
more.
at we look at this all the time. Even
Wait.
a team, even teams teams like for example like the Swanseas that came into the league after the first season. Come on, that was a dream season for them, but the fans wanted more. Like it, I think it is the dream of football.
It is
That's what I
ridiculous.
think.
It is ridiculous. Let me explain why it is ridiculous. Let me give you numbers, because maybe sometimes when we have numbers, it helps. Moyes came 7th with West Ham to qualify for the Conference League, right? In the Conference League year, you know how European football affects you.
Yeah, you were like
they came 14th while winning the Conference League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next season, they now had Europa League now, as they won Conference League, and came ninth. Haba. Come on.
So Moyes was sacked at the end of the season.
He didn't sack. He was not sacked.
He wasn't renewed at the end of the season.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So
because the fans were very sorry, friend.
I agree with you. So let's just build it on Moyes and talk about him for a bit. So my final question before we leave this fixture, Ibuka, is as at the time of the next game week, Liverpool and Crystal Palace are the only teams that are unbeaten in the Premier League. Who do you think is going to lose that game?
Crystal Palace.
I've always loved Oliver Glasner, right? From his time in the Bundesliga, punching above his weight. Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, always finishing in the top in the European sports with these teams, right? And if you take a look at 2025, I think the team in the Premier League, looking at 2025 as a whole, that has lost the fewest number of games is actually Palace.
Yeah.
In 2025. And yes, they face City, they face Chelsea, they face Liverpool, and they've been unbeaten. In that game, I think whoever scores first gets to take the day. Because if Palace scores first, I'm sorry, I don't see Liverpool coming into that game and taking all 3 points. That's it. Whoever scores first.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
whoever scores first in that game would most likely, end up
Don't
with the
collect.
3 points.
Okay, so let's go to the next fixture. This was the game between Tottenham and Brighton. You know, Brighton were high in confidence because their last home game, they actually defeated Manchester City. And they actually scored 2 goals first. The first one was a very brilliant goal from Minter, where he dribbled Vicario before emptying playing to empty goal. Then Ayari had a shot that I don't know how that ball passed through Vicario. I think he had a Fabianski moment. But Thomas Frank and Spurs staged the comeback. So, Chike, what are your thoughts on the new look Tottenham under Thomas Frank?
New look Tottenham. It's a good team. It's a scary good team. I mean, yesterday's results, Brighton's 2 goals. I mean, it was the first goal, beautiful goal, great on the break. I think it was rotated at center pass.
Yeah,
I think it
Jorginho,
was rotated. It
yes.
was fantastic.
Yeah,
The second goal, I mean, the keeper. I'm not sure. I've never been a keeper. You're a goalkeeper, but from all the angles I've seen, I don't know how he let that in. But these things happen sometimes. But
Yeah.
Spurs kept at it. They kept going at it. They had more of the possession. They had the attacks. They rested some players that I think would have started that game based on their European exertions during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xavi Simons, who's a player I have a lot of time for.
Mhm.
Even I was going to say what's his name
Randa Kolomwani.
I was going to say Kolomwani. No, Kolomwani. But Richarlison had a good game as well. I mean, he was all over the place. I think he's really a kind of striker that Frank will like, which is why I'm wondering what's going to happen with Solanke, because Richarlison gets himself about, and Frank likes strikers that get themselves about.
Yeah, that can hustle a lot. Yeah, true.
You know, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, we're watching Spurs, but I still feel defensively, if either Van der Ven or Romero get an injury, Danso and I think the Japanese guy Drago, the Romanian guy.
Dragusin.
No, he had an ACL.
Dragusin. I think he's injured.
Oh,
Dragusin, I thought he's left Spurs.
No, he had an ACL injury. That's why.
So he's gone for a while. So it's Danso and the Japanese guy, I think they got.
Takai.
Yeah, so their cover at center back is not the best, and we'll see how they'll handle the 3 competitions. Because by the time the League Cup runs around and you have to rest players, do they have any players that are willing to come in the center back position? So that's the only thing I'm quite concerned about. But I think Frank is a good manager. He has good players. Spurs can be a force to reckon with.
Okay, so Uche, this question goes to you. When Newcastle made it to the Champions League, the next campaign, they struggled terribly in both Champions League and the Premier League. Do you think that the Champions League campaign might be a problem for Tottenham, or do you think they have the depth to cope with it?
It will be a problem for them. The squad management required to feature effectively in the Champions League. I think that's what the last commentator just spoke about, the squad depth, especially in and around the midfield and at the back. And then you would have to wonder how many games the young players who played a lot of last season can get this season. The Bedvals and what's the other midfielder's name?
Sir?
There's another, no, not Sir. There's another young midfielder that featured in the last season. Archie Gray, yeah.
Great.
So you know, those are players with very big potential. So this could be huge seasons for them, both of them especially. And then I expect Richarlison to have a huge season. Richarlison is the perfect man for Thomas Frank. He needs to just get his mentality in check, and I believe he can add a lot of goals. And then with Bernard Johnson on the flanks, Solanke still coming back. In the front, I think they're okay. But defensively, I don't think they're okay. In and around the midfield, I think they may need January to support that back, especially that back. I think they may need January there. That's my opinion.
Okay, Ebuka, question for you. Did Brighton really recruit well following the loss of João Pedro and some other key signings? Or do you think what they have is enough to sustain them in the campaign to finish in the top half?
Brighton recruitment. I don't think they've recruited well enough, right, to fill the void that João Pedro left when he was left for Chelsea. However, Fabian Hosela, going into his time at St. Pauli and the stability he put in place to where St. Pauli actually, I think St. Pauli should be in the top 6 in the Bundesliga. He's done a fabulous work. And he's a manager who I call a stabilizer, right? If things are going awry, you bring him in, he stabilizes the whole place, right? But one thing I've kind of like been shocked this season is the fact that I know Welbeck is getting old, but he no longer leads the line. So there's been lots of rotation in that forward position since Joao Pedro left. I think Welbeck has played there. Mitoma has played there. Jorginho Rota has played in there. It's been like up and down, trying to see as in what works, right? But one thing for Brighton is they score goals. They always score, and in the same manner they concede. I think they're one of the few teams who has not kept a clean sheet in the Premier League this season, if I'm not mistaken. So, has that position been filled, letting Joao Pedro go? I don't think so. But Fabian Hojela is a very good coach, and I think with the resources available at his disposal, he would be able to at least get Brighton to a mid-table finish, even if Europe is probably out of reach. And one thing comment I also need to make is, man, like what happened to Baliba? He's been
Yeah. Yeah, disastrous. And if you propose Man U move, I'm not really.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but he's been bad in Brighton's games this season, and probably he's doing that to thank his value to come to United. Um,
But he's 20. We're expecting consistencies from them, right?
yeah,
So
but this is back to back to back inconsistency. Like he's been hauled off, I think, at halftime in 2 or 3 games this season. Don't know what's going on in there, but yeah, I hope he gets back to the Baliban of the
as
league.
a catchphrase, I wish that's something Mikel did about Declan Rice in a few games this season. You know, but that's just by the side. That's just by the side. Let's not go in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for me, they've not really filled up that João Pedro's the missing spot.
Okay, thanks, man. So, Chike, we have Dragushin out, you have Takai out, you have Bisuma out, you have Madison out, you have Kulusevski out, you have Solanke out. Where do you think Spurs will finish this campaign? Will they still make Europe?
Well, but I mean, come on, they're still it's 5 games in. 5 games in. I mean, they have the firepower to do something. I mean, it's okay. Wait, based on the players remaining, are you asking me if I feel Spurs are top 7 side?
Yeah.
That's literally yes.
Okay. Okay. So basically, that 17 was an outlier last campaign.
Oh, of course.
Complete
If
outlier.
anybody, if anybody believes Spurs and Manchester United were the 17th and 15th teams in the Premier League, that's fine. Fair enough, man. That's good. I mean, the table doesn't lie. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Okay. So now as we're about to go to Manchester United, and we have 2 Manchester United fans here, so I'm sure you
Who are
get
on
that.
opposing sides.
Okay, so let's talk about this game. From the onset, there was an incident with Brandon Bemo. That's me going on one-on-one with Sanchez, and obviously that was a red card. That was a fully deserved red card. The question I want to ask to let me start with a neutral fan in Uche. You're an Arsenal fan. You watch this match. With the way Manchester United played, was it just because of the deficits they were able to get a result? Do you think that I've gotten a result against 11 and 11 when they played the game?
I, I don't believe I don't believe they would have gotten a result if the games were balanced. But then again, in fixtures at Old Trafford, in the last 10 years or so, Chelsea have never had it. No matter what Man U is going through, Chelsea have never had it. So aside from that historical angle, look at what happened immediately the game became balanced in terms of numbers. It was a disastrous strain. So I tell Manchester United fans, take the win, be happy. But I promise you, I don't think that is an improvement. I don't think it is a significant improvement. Let me put it that way. A 3 point is an improvement on a draw or a 0 point. But that performance in itself, I don't think it was a significant improvement. I think they should worry about a lot of things. But should they enjoy the victory? Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. So Achike, next question goes to you. Um, would you say that Bruno Fernandez is being wasted in central midfield, or should he be among the 2 attacking midfielders that play behind the striker?
I mean, that question has nuance. Being wasted in central midfield, I disagree with the term being wasted. I mean, the skill set he has, a lot of people want him to play further up forward because that's where he's been the best for the team and all that. And I can totally understand that, and I'm fine with that. The thing is, I think the only reason it's even a topic of conversation is because unfortunately there's a rotating cast of partners. So that it's this week it's Kobe Mino, this week it's Ugarte, this week it's Casemiro.
Where's Kobe? Which week? Hold on. Which week has there been Meno? Which week has there been Meno? Which week? Which week? Which week?
Take it
Unless I'm
started
mistaken, didn't Menu start? So you just answered the question now. You said which week has it been Menu except the Burnley game? So he started the Burnley game. Menu also started the Grimsby Town game. So we've played 6 games this season, and he has started 2 of the games. There's going to be 40 something games this season now. Is this knee-jerk thing? It's baffling me. That's and like I mentioned it earlier and whatever. The manager has said that from what he wants for one of his central midfielders, Meno is behind Bruno. End of story. I don't know why this is even a conversation.
No. I think the question is. I think the question is that looking at. I think the question is looking at the performance of your squad.
Beautiful.
Is that a wise thing to do? Should you take away Bruno from where he's at the optimum?
When you say at the optimum, is it? And that might be the question. I get the question. The point is, we bought Mbeumo, Cunha,
Chesko,
and a striker, right? No.
Of which the transfer window, I'm not in support of it. I never liked it.
No problem. This is what has been got. Now, the manager at this point believes that it is better for him to get Bruno deeper, let the goal scorers, because Man United's problem over the last 3 seasons has been
scoring
2.5 seasons, has been scoring goals.
Yeah.
Now, Bruno should not be our primary goal scorer. That's what he's looking at. I mean, don't get me wrong. He hasn't told me this personally. I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. Now, when I feel you.
I'm following you,
I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. Is that okay? Mbeumo and Cunha, are 2 players that over the past couple of seasons have scored more goals than they should have. Right? And we get a striker.
They overperform their XG. You're correct.
Yes, and by the way, everybody that knows me knows that I didn't particularly want us to go for Sesko, in that I felt that last striker was not our problem. I believe it was all the things happening around it. Now, he wants to, especially as Bruno is getting older. And, we love this, our statistic of, oh my God, in the past 10 years, Bruno has missed only 4 games and all that. It cannot go on forever. And he's so important to the team. So maybe the manager is putting him in a position that will prolong his career. And like we have seen with Modric and Andrea Pirlo and all sorts of players in that type of mode who were more forward-playing midfielders in their career up till their mid to late 20s. And then they dropped a bit. Now, results are results are the most important thing, don't get me wrong. But they are coloring the way we're looking at these things. Up till yesterday, even before yesterday, or is it before the City game, United was top in all the XG stats, touches in the opponent's box and all that. So finishing was just our problem. So people should calm down. We've lost to who? We've lost to Arsenal this season, right? Expected, right? Even though we played well in that game. If at the start of the season they told you Arsenal, the title challenger, we're playing Man United 15th, you would say that should be an Arsenal win. Who else have we lost to? Man City. If they told you Man United were going to the Etihad to play Man City, you would have given it as a Man United as a Man City win, right? So this knee-jerk reaction after every game, the yarns, the this and that.
But we drew Fulham.
We drew. I'm sorry, Fulham away is not the easiest game in the world. We've actually been better with.
What?
Hold on.
I said the last time we drew Fulham?
Hold on. Like
Atike,
my man Uche said. Uche, hold on. You said something, right?
Let him finish.
Chelsea have won 2 titles since 2013, right? Yet they have not won at Old Trafford in those 12 years. Yeah,
they have not.
It just shows you some things happen and some things are outliers. United have lost to Fulham more times at Old Trafford in the last 10 years than they have at Craven Cottage. Things happen. That game went either way. Cunha had 2 chances in the first minute. Mbeumo hit the ball. Cunha hit the ball. I mean, sometimes we watch football almost like we're watching to react, not to watch what's going on. Are United having a great season so far? Not really. Neither is anyone else except from Liverpool, basically. Arsenal felt they had a bad result against City, felt they had a bad result against Liverpool. Liverpool are the only ones that have won every game. We're even criticizing Liverpool for why they're scoring late goals, forgetting they've not been behind the whole season. No. Sometimes we should just watch the game. The result is the result. Try and watch to see some things we saw in the game and all that. Do I like the way United is playing this season as opposed to last season? Yes. Have the results all gone the way I wanted them to go? No. Arsenal, we played very well in my opinion, and lost.
Okay, thank you so much, Achike. So, Ebuka, I'll put a timer right now on my phone. I'll give you a hashtag for Amorim out. Let's go. Let's go.
I've never been an Amorim fan. Right from the day he was appointed, I believe he's too rigid, and I believe he's forcing players to fit into his formation rather than the other way around, where you get your players to fit into a formation that's suited to the players you have available. You want to play back three, right? Fine and good, yeah, play back three. But then he plays a 3-4-2-1. And most times, the one striker out there literally has the least touches. We let Rasmus Højlund go. We got Ishescu. I'm telling you, the same problem that happened with Rasmus Højlund will happen to Benjamin Sesko. Now, and I understand as in the Premier League, right? There's always the numerical superiority in midfield, where as basically sometimes as it overload the midfield, as in say 4v2 or 3v2. Now, why don't you shift to a 3-4-1-2 shape, right? Where you have three midfielders, you have Meno, and you have a supporting cast, either Ogata or Casemiro. You have Bruno in front of them, and then you have as the strikers up front, right? Allowing Bruno to be in his place to devastating effect. And if I'm not mistaken, right, in terms of attacking stats, right, and I'm not talking as in ball recoveries, as in and all those stuff, right? I think this is one season where Bruno isn't having those numbers like in past seasons. Now you see, Bruno literally scored as in the winner against Burnley, scored again yesterday, right? When you have Bruno in these places, right? When you have Bruno playing in the final third of the opposition half, right? He's devastating, and that is where he needs to be all the time. So what Achike is saying about getting Bruno playing in midfield because he's getting old, bro, I do not believe in that stuff at all. Like at all. Get Bruno where he's able to be devastating and have a supporting cast behind him. Fine, you want to play a three-man defense and you want to use the challenge, you want to use the width. But then, where there is no central progression, where there is no attacking progression through the middle, it's a problem. Most of our chances is via the flanks. There is literally nothing wrong with that in the middle. Now, if you take a look yesterday, so hold on. If you take a look at the game yesterday, right? Game state. When Chelsea went down to 10 men, they are United in the ascendancy. But then when Casemiro got the red card, I mean, like, look at literally what happened. And I think someone here said it previously that if it was like the same number, like equal 10-10 or 11-11 from the beginning, ain't no way United is getting a result.
Okay, so you still have 3 minutes left for your rant.
Wait. Sorry, I want to say something about Bruno. I want to talk about see my problem with the Bruno situation is here, right? If you want to play Bruno deeper in midfield, knowing that he has spent a lot of his years playing at the higher end of the pitch, you have to give him a player who protects him.
That was my point. His partner is the issue.
For the Luka Modric, you had the Casemiro biting and backing all around him.
Oh, bro, no.
He will snap your heels.
Right? You had Marquinhos.
Just hold on.
I 100% agree with you.
But my point is this, bro. If you don't have that player, why are you forcing it?
Because now let me explain. I
feel this is theory. I feel this is theory versus practical.
Hold on. You ask a question. Let Achike respond.
Ebuka gave wonderful soliloquy. Bruno does this, Bruno does that. That is part of the problem. The manager is trying to build a team where they can come from anywhere. Bruno played deep yesterday and he scored, right? He played deep against Burnley and he scored.
No, game state.
I know. You see, we can also talk.
It was almost like a diamond. It was a diamond when Chelsea had 10 men.
No problem.
It was a diamond. Bruno was deployed for that forward.
Oh, he was the best player forward in the midfield. Who were the other three now in the diamond?
No. I mean, Bruno was deployed for that forward. So it was like a midfield, a diamond shape where Bruno was way more advanced when Chelsea were down to 10 men. And the Casemiro played at
and where were Ahmad and Sesko?
Ahmad and Sesko. So, like I said, it was a 3-4-3 diamond.
So thank
when
you.
Chelsea
So no matter what you're saying here, there were
10
still
men.
3 players ahead of Bruno: Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Sesko. Beautiful, no
Yes.
problem. We're still saying the same thing in the sense that we need other players. Bruno, I don't particularly like teams, and this is from watching Man United since 1994, where one player is the top in every stat, goal scored, chances created, and whatever. When that player is, by the grace of God, it won't happen, touch wood, unavailable in call. The manager is trying to get, yes, true. The manager is trying to get a system. Dude, were you not surprised to see Bruno actually subbed yesterday? When last was Bruno Fernandes subbed in a Man United game? We look at it when we're happy, and that's a good thing. You know, our captain can play every game. But no, even Salah's supposed to be subbed in some games. There should be a situation where if your team is doing well, or if you're 2 or 3-0 up, you can sub him. If he's having a bad day, which every player tends to have once in a while, every footballer has had a bad day.
Achike, have you looked at the numbers with Amorim? Are you looking? You're talking about numbers. Are you looking at the numbers?
Bro, let's not talk about things that we can see, because numbers are numbers. This season, Salah's numbers have been terrible.
I'm not talking about this season, Achike. I'm talking about from when he started till now.
Yes.
Are you looking at the numbers?
Sorry, is this an Amorim out or whatever, or is this a?
No, I'm not saying Amorim out. I'm saying
the numbers are there for everybody to see. The numbers are clear, they are clean. Let's talk about other things that we can't just see from looking at a page on the television. Let's talk about things that if you look at a team in build-up, the chances as a team, we are creating more, which is not only Bruno creating all the chances for us. I mean, and this is not I'm not yabbing Bruno. I mean, I'm a Man United fan. I love Bruno. He's my wallpaper on my second phone. You understand what I mean? But I'm saying that if a coach says, right, that this team is dysfunctional in our imbalance and he's trying to balance it, obviously results are 100%. And as of now, the results are not terrible. Yes, since he took over, but last season is over. The same way Spurs were 17th last season. So that means Spurs are going to be 17th this season, No, now. We've got some new players. We have a manager that has something he's trying. It was always, and I'm happy he said it clearly and all that, I didn't want to come middle of season. This no be as I do. This no be as I do. But no problem. When things are going bad, we'll point to in how many games he has done this.
I want him to stay so that I'll keep being happy. I want him to stay. Don't get me wrong. He should remain forever.
I personally 100% believe. I am not the one that hired him. But if Amorim should stay for the long term, he will achieve great success in Man United. But football has changed. He might not get the long term.
Okay. But Achike, honestly, if you were the board, how much more would you back Amorim and for how long?
If I was the board,
how much more would you say I will give him, and for how long do I expect him to turn out results?
Let me explain. Ebuka can attest to this. We were in the same forums and groups last season, right? I was very upset with the sacking of Ten Hag because when the structure was changed, our ownership and all that, I said give him till December. Now, as of the time Amorim was Ten Hag was sacked, we were 4 points off the Champions League places. What position?
Yes,
we were 7th or something. Like only 4 points. So I'm like, to me, that's a knee-jerk reaction. You give him the extension, give him the season. Now with Amorim, I'm the same way. We've given him his preseason. We have our 3 weeks. If by December, which I don't even think, in fact, I believe no matter what, honestly, if I was the board, no matter what, I'll give him the season. No matter what, we would have to be the bottom.
See,
let me finish now. Let me
finish. To lose out on back-to-back European qualification. There is no way.
No, Ebuka, you will answer. Ebuka, you will answer the same question. You will.
Like
I want to hear Achike's
view. At the beginning of the season. Because I don't even know why this is a conversation. 7 points from 5 games, playing 2 of the supposed title contenders.
I don't want him gone.
Wait, let me finish now. Arsenal are supposed, they've come 3 years in a row, right? Man City have won second 3 years in a row. Man City have won 6 of the last 7 league titles, right? Or 5 of the last whatever league titles. Those are the 2 games Man United has lost this season, right? Why is this a conversation? Why is this actually a conversation?
I agree with you. So we have a comment from the chat here by Babajide. He says 5 games in, but I think you see early days for Manchester United. The pressure point is just now because they are going through Alex Ferguson withdrawal syndrome, and they have got a rockstar manager, but they'll get it right. So now let's
They
talk
can't
about
be
So, can I make a point? Just on this comment, let me make a point here. A little bit of a history lesson. You that you love me now, you know I love history. Man United has 20 league titles. Yeah. Liverpool has 20 league titles. Liverpool's 20 league titles are under 10 different managers. Manchester United's 20 league titles are only under 3 different managers. Manchester United is a club that the manager, getting the manager right has proved historically difficult. But when it is gotten right, and it always starts badly, as Samad Bosby took over after the war and all that, but when it works, it works. And I would rather stay with a manager that has full conviction and has full backing of the board than move over and over and again, hoping to get it right. I mean, let's call it a spade. As good as anybody thinks an slot is, any Liverpool fan that thought they were going to win the league last season, at the beginning, as in when slot was just hired, they had come there though, had done well with this with Klopp's team. But the point was, okay, let's just solidify and then build from there.
Yeah.
And some clubs are like that. United is a club that the manager comes in and has to stamp his authority and drive the club. It's a manager-driven club.
We should move away from that. We should move away from that manager club. As in that because you can't allow a manager, someone who first of all, right, like, and I'll always say, hasn't proven himself at the highest
like an slot.
I'm sorry, the Portuguese league is a second tier league.
What is proving themselves?
It's a second tier
proving themselves.
When I say proving themselves, right? Okay, you can have great results. You can have, as in, results against the likes of Famalicão, Rio Ave, Gil Vicente, right?
SC Braga.
But with players of that level too now, like sporting players are in the Portuguese league now.
No, let me land.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Take a look at an slot, right? And slot, at least on the continental level, he got to European Conference final, and literally what he did in the Dutch league, right? If you look at his head-to-head record against the Ajax, against the PSVs.
Wait, sorry. When you say the Ajax and the PSVs, wait, hold on. Say not that the third biggest team in Holland. They're not a small club, but the way you're making it sound like against the Ajax and the PSVs.
Yeah. But I think he's making a point because
no. But Feyenoord is not the biggest. Feyenoord is not the biggest club.
If you remember, Sporting CP struggled against Benfica and Porto in most of their games. One, they tended to like wash all the other local teams.
They didn't struggle.
Hold on, let me say something right now.
Struggle.
Amorim's record against Benfica. Hold on, let me land. Amorim's record against Benfica: 13 games, 2 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses.
Yes.
Against Porto, 11 games, 3 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses.
Hold on. Wait. I love this. You're very right. Arsenal's record against the other top 6 over the past 5 years is how many wins and no loss up till just Man City last week? How many titles?
So you want to compare apples?
No, it's not.
With watermelons.
No,
the Premier League.
The Premier League is unique. Arsenal have
there is nothing unique about Manchester. See, let me tell you, actually, let me make this point, right? Just hold on, let me make this point. United getting managers from the Dutch league and the Portuguese league, right, actually got standards into the gutter.
No problem.
That is it. If you don't take it or leave it, but if we were supposed to go for a manager in the top 4 leagues in Europe who are consistently fighting for top 4 places. Do not go to the backwaters of the Portuguese league, whose the full league is not even as good as the championship, and you're bringing a manager from those backwater leagues in Europe,
2-time European Cup winners, FC Porto, 2-time European Cup winners
in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like It's fine. We can have differing opinions. Like Chelsea. Wait now, like Chelsea got a manager from the backwater of the Portuguese league that is their greatest manager of all time. It happened.
That manager won the Europa League and the UCL back to back. He proved himself in Europe.
So what I like about this is that as of then, the Europa League was this knockout. The 9 games of Europa League, well, the UEFA Cup then, and the 13 games. No, it wasn't 13 then. It was less because there was no round of 16. Anyway, of the Champions League then, are more of a barometer than 4 full 20-game league seasons. You see, we can look at football however we want to.
I will tell you yes, because bro, I'm telling you right now, if you go to optaanalyst.com, put the League One, English League One, and compare it against the Portuguese league, you would see that in terms of strength,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but are you forgetting?
No,
Hold on
it's
now.
almost
Hold
like
on
a
now.
getting a manager who has
Hold
dominated
on
English League
now.
One to United.
Hold on. If you put the players in Sporting too, are they equal to Premier League players? So everybody's
Obviously
playing
not.
their level, right? Right? Hold
Yeah.
on. Wait. Do you agree? If you say that yes, the teams are this level, the players too are this level. So what he's doing with his players there?
The players are way more superior. He has way more superior players against farmers.
Like Bruno Fernandes is a way more superior player to every Sunderland player now.
No, hold on. I want to sorry.
Let me explain where I'm coming from. Can I explain where I'm coming from?
Okay.
If you say this league is a farmers league, yeah, it's not a farmers league of everybody. You're even calling Porto, Benfica, them, because when I mentioned them now, you said when last did they do this? When last did they do this? So he was the best in a poor league, right? By your admission.
Yes, he was the best in a 5-year league. Yes,
his players too are playing in that league now, right? So they are playing against.
Yes,
they are better than those players, but they are not Serie A level, Premier League level, or Spanish level. If not, they will be there now.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So he's using the players of that level to dominate that level. Now I assume we have given him better players in Man United, right? I assume. The same way an a slot, no player in whole of Dutch league combined reached Mohamed Salah. You now give him Salah and you expect more from him now.
Okay.
Let it flow now.
Okay.
Let it flow. It's 5 games in. Simple.
Okay, so no, guys. Let's talk about Chelsea for a bit. I know we've already dealt with Manchester United. So they started the season quite well. Obviously, they won the Club World Cup. They're high in confidence. But in their last 3 games, they've not won. They drew with Brentford 2-2, lost to Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and lost to Manchester United. Do you think a shake-up is required, or should Maresca still stick to his guns and play the way he had been playing in the beginning of the season? Uche, answer that question.
Well, honestly speaking, Chelsea as a team this season, I think will surprise a lot of people. The problem I feel Maresca would have is managing players' emotions.
In what sense?
Okay, so you have a squad where some players, one of them a very senior player, is not training with the team at all. To the extent that the Premier League even wrote Chelsea about the treatment. And you know Chelsea, they are heavy movers in the markets, always chopping and changing. Security of players mentally, it counts. It's the manager's point of call to know how to manage that. Of course, they have psychologists and therapists and all that. But it's the manager that ultimately makes the call. Number 2, is he going to be bold? Enzo Fernandez, he likes to play him somewhat as an attacking midfielder. I don't know why. I think that is the same thing Arteta does when he tries to play Merino as an attacking midfielder. I don't know why. Is he going to cut it out? And then finally, how is he going to deal with injuries? The strikers, of course, you know what's happening with them. Delap, injured. Pedro, just coming back. Jackson, out on loan. Did McGui leave eventually?
No, he left and they brought him back.
Okay, so Gui is back. So that's it. So Chelsea has spent a lot of money, but I feel the solutions they have in key areas were not addressed in tune with how much they have. This is a squad running into billions. Why don't you have a bad-ass striker? Why is there a conversation till now? Why are you shuttling between Fofana, Badichile, and what's the other guy's name? Tosin. I mean, Maguire was there. You guys could have taken Gueye. You could have gone for Gueye.
You mean they should have gotten him back? People forget.
They should have gotten him back. And then in the keeping position, how do you have Sanchez and Petrovic? Last year, when Bono was about to go to Saudi, I said it clearly. I said Chelsea should not be letting Bono go to Saudi. That was an easy deal for Chelsea. He was going on a free. Pay him the salary. You don't sign him. So, I think they spent a lot, but I think in some key areas, they didn't really fix it according to their purse. And I think they'll pay for that one or two ways. But as my brother who's a Chelsea fan always says, it's a clear lake is not here for success. They are here for business.
Okay, so there's a comment here in the chat from Charles Umbo. He said Sterling and Disasi refuse moves. Chelsea don't only the club that have players training. No, Manchester United have the same, and you could be wrong. So Achike, because I'll ask you this question: where do you think Chelsea needs to improve as a club in their playing squad? What positions?
I think the main issue Chelsea has is that the central defenders sometimes, I mean, I think Fofana is the best central defender and he's injury prone. He's had some really bad injuries and all that. But again, I think we're being a bit short-sighted. And I don't know whether it's because of how long we've been watching ball. I'm sorry, Chelsea were the second most successful team in England last year. Apart from Liverpool, who won the title, Chelsea came up so qualified for the Champions League the right way and won the Conference League. They didn't have a bad season by any stretch, in my opinion. In my opinion, people look at things differently. Because I've had this argument with people before. Someone will tell me that Arsenal and Man City, someone will say Arsenal and Man City had better seasons than them. But to me, it's that if we all qualified for Champions League straight through the league, and then I won a trophy, you didn't. I had a better season, but that's the way I rate things. That's the way I rate things. About this striker thing, they will soon fall into the same trap that Arsenal fell into, where they were externally, in my opinion, pressured by a striker. They bought a striker that didn't fit. Chelsea did not have a problem scoring goals. They have goals from all over the park. They have goals from, I mean, people yab Jackson so much, which I don't understand, because he scored what? 12, 13 goals, all competitions last season. The season before that, it was 18 or 14. I can't remember the numbers. Don't quote me. They have Jean Pedro, who will score a good number of goals. When I say a good number, if you're rotating enough, if he scores 10 goals, that's fine. If Delap 2 scores 10, if Palmer scores his 10 penalties and 6 normal goals, if Benedetto scores some goals, Enzo Fernandez has started scoring from outside the box. Sometimes it's like we need so many talking points that we're like, where are they doing wrong? Instead of what are they doing okay? Yeah, they've drawn 2 games this season. Yeah, fine. One was away from home. One was against Crystal Palace, who Chelsea had not had a preseason, if we haven't forgotten. Straight from Claude World Cup to the league.
No, they played 2 games.
No, when I say I mean that's not a real. When I say a preseason, you know what I mean now. Like, played some friendlies. Like PSG are suffering it now with their injuries. PSG are now having all over the place. Yeah, who are the games they lost to? Bayern Munich away, right? Mm-hmm. That's expected. Man United away, it's not expected. But like we said, in 13 years, no, in 12 years, they've not beaten Man United at Old Trafford. So some of these things, 5 games in, they have 7 points. It's not the worst.
It's a small sample size. I agree with you.
Yes, and Maresca, is he playing well? The fans were initially booing him that they wanted direct football. They came fourth, won 2 trophies last season.
Yeah, he's doing well actually.
Okay, so let's go to other key fixtures in the game week. But before we look at the next one on the list, there are a couple of comments from Charles. They said that Chelsea had a restricted budget to buy a register. I kind of find that puzzling because I know they spent a lot of,
No, they had because UEFA, by Premier League they were okay, but because they're in Champions League, they had some more shuffling around to do. Because Champions League rules are different to Premier League rules. Yeah, they had some issues.
Oh yeah, and you're trying to go further explaining to how they missed out on Simon because they could not get the funds from Jackson and stuff like that. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for the education, Charles. So let's go to Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Ibuka, is Graham Potter walking on a tightrope? Do you think it's high time to let him go, or should he continue to?
I think Graham Potter will be fired this week. I think Graham Potter will be fired this week. You can imagine. I'm telling you, you can imagine 3 times Crystal Palace have come to the Olympic Stadium, and they've got more wins in 3 games, which is 3 wins in 3 games, than Graham Potter have had in 12 games. 2 wins at home. So it's just a matter. I saw online, right? I saw a picture online where one of the West Ham management was in touch with Nunes Espirito Santo.
Oh, really?
like they were having coffee. Yeah. The picture surfaced online. So I think Graham Potter's time is done. Graham Potter, people go back to his time at Brighton, but then when you take a look at those numbers at Brighton, wasn't really good, right? Compared to the managers Brighton has had after. I think his points was about 1.3 points per game. That was I think it was about 32% win percentage at Brighton. Went to Chelsea, still maintained the same 32% win percentage. Now at West, so I think probably at this point, Graham Potter, if he's fired, I think his time as a managing clubs in the Premier League is over. Probably the next thing is take a step down, go into the Championship, and try to get into management. But it's been bad. But for Palace, another win. Palace are unbeaten. Next game is against Liverpool, and it's smooth sailing for Palace. I'm not forgetting, Palace are also in Europe. They've had a couple of injuries. I think Adam Wharton is out, Sarri is out. But then, yes, they came up as they got the job done. Jeremy Pino and what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. Kamada. So they played the 2-10s, right? So as in, despite the injuries, Glasner comes up with solutions and gets the job done. And like I said, one of my favorite managers right from when he was in the Bundesliga, and we'll see what Palace will be up to this season. But I think I tipped them for it.
Okay, so Achike, this one is for you. Sunderland 3-0, Chelsea 5-1, Wolves in the EFL Cup 3-2, surprise win against Nottingham, Tottenham 3-0, Crystal Palace 2-1. Where do you think it has gone wrong for West Ham? Looking from outside in.
From outside in here, I also like to give people benefit of the doubt, and like the numbers Ebuka throw out there. Yeah, they are very damning when you look at them like that. But then, who are those? Since Graham Potter took over, who are those teams they played at home? They've played Tottenham,
Chelsea.
All those. You understand? You see what I mean? So I'm not saying he's doing a fantastic job or great job or whatever, but we sometimes these stats and things are where owners hear these things too. Owners are business people and they hear this thing and oh my God, Crystal Palace have beaten us more times at home than we've won at home since this manager came. In that time, you've played Liverpool in that your home. You've played Arsenal. Do you understand? You've played games that you've expected to lose. Like, I don't know if you remember last season, how Brentford started so good away from home. People are like, oh my God, could they be a title calendar? But you realize that it's because the fixture calendar showed that the teams they were expecting to have beaten away or not were the teams they played away. So their away record was fantastic. But if you notice, at the end of the season, everything balanced back out. Because when the big boys were now the ones they were playing away, it now all balanced out. So, I mean, Potter, he's suffering from the high reputation, like Ebuka said, he had in Brighton. Because the difference, and this is that thing about expecting more that we had earlier, right? From where Brighton were to where Potter took them is like this, It's like he took them from 0 to 60, right? Now, other managers have kept them from 60, taking them to 70 to 80, But that gap into where he took them should not be trifled at, if that makes any sense.
Fair enough.
Because think about Brighton last year, unless I'm mistaken, had the highest net spend in the Premier League now, 100 and something million net.
Yeah.
It was last year or the year before last.
Yeah. No, so the year the Soul can schedule. I think that's the year before last.
Anyway, the year before last. In Graham Potter's whole time in Brighton, they did not spend up to 100 million.
Yeah.
You see, their playing field has moved. So, so comparing it to like how, because the team he created, other teams came and took better teams further, but not as much further as he took the team he inherited, if that makes any sense. He took a team that was expected to be relegated to mid-table. These guys have taken them from 12th to 10th to 8th. So we're looking at it as, they are now 8th and 9th. But where Potter took them from is a bigger achievement than where De Zerbi took them from the last person. That's, So he's probably going to get the sack because West Ham's owners are very particularly prone to listening to the fans because they get abused by the fans a lot.
Yeah.
These are from the days, we know how it is now. When
Sullivan
and it was Sullivan that used to own the chain of gentlemen's clubs, wasn't it? And then they used to, they now even started saying they will start boycotting his gentleman club. My guy was sacking managers anyhow.
Okay, so Uche, let's talk about Crystal Palace. They have been living a life post Eze and post Olise. What's your take on the replacements in the forms of Pino, Sa, and how high do you think Glasner can take them this season?
Um, their replacements have been okay, and I think it was good they didn't allow Gohi to leave. I think it was good they stood their ground,
No, they didn't say
even though
they didn't say their ground actually because Igor didn't join them from Brighton. He actually went to Crystal and West Ham instead. So they
that,
actually
that's
when he another did
that,
his medical.
that's the point. So they didn't let him go to Liverpool eventually
Oh
because they
yeah,
didn't get their man.
yeah,
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 I
yeah.
like that. And I also like Yeremi Pino. He's a very interesting player. I love him. I've been following him in the La Liga. And I know that with time he's going to come good. But then again, it's Crystal Palace, it's Oliver Glasner. You expect very detailed football, and I don't expect any less from Glasner. I expect them to even make Europe this season. And
Okay,
Mateta also stayed. If Mateta extends his contracts, that's another big win for them. So for me, trust Glasner, back Glasner.
okay, awesome, awesome. So let's go to the next game on this list, and I'll start with you here, Ibuka. How certain is Wolves going to go on relegation this season?
It's at this point it's really really bad. They need Josh Chandlerson as fit as possible because like basically everything runs through him. The EFL Cup win against West Ham was two of his goals, right? And it's I never thought it would be this bad, right? Especially Leeds coming to the Molino and like slamming three
Mm.
goals against Wolves. And I think last week, Vitor Pereira, the manager, was given a new contract. And right now, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, what exactly are these guys doing? Because if the results continue the way it did last yesterday, then yeah, definitely they would have to at least they've got to
Yeah,
fire him. But they were
but I'm thinking,
pathetic. They were
yeah, but I'm
pathetic.
thinking about something. There was a time when Wolves was so good. When they had Jimenez, had Jota, had Raul Neves, they looked like a proper Premier League side. But in recent campaigns, I think they have really
Yeah,
struggled.
Nuno Espirito Santo, like you can give it to him. You see what he did with Wolves, took Wolves to Europe. You can see what he did with Forest, took Forest to Europe. Like I think, yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo, when it comes to those mid-table clubs looking to punch above their weight, he's your
Yeah,
go-to person. But since then, I
but
think
I
the
noticed that
people,
your agenda of Nuno didn't speak anything about Tottenham.
no, so yeah, Tottenham. I would say Tottenham was he able to manage the egos in that Tottenham dressing room. I'm not really sure he was because Nuno is somebody who likes to he comes into the room and he wants to be in charge of that whole space, right? I'm the boss. I'm here. I'm in charge. And when you have a dressing room that had Harry Kane, that had Son, you understand? As in, I think yeah, I think Loris was there
Mm-hmm.
back then. You might struggle. So he's known like in managerial circles that he's not good at managing as a player's egos. He's not good. He likes to be the main person. So if you're looking at those lesser clubs who are looking to okay, he comes into the dressing room and okay, yeah, we can be here. Nuno's a
Yeah.
go-to person. But then, yeah, talking about Wolves, we have the past couple of years from Nuno, Bruno Lage, after Bruno Lage, Gary
Mm-hmm.
O'Neill, from Gary O'Neill now, Vitor Pereira. He did great, like as steering them away
Last
from
season,
relegation last
yes.
season. But then same old story, Wolves, and then not taking away the fact that the ownership, right, the Fosun Group, nah, they're not really like your very very good owners, right? So it's looking quite grim. But let's when Strand Larsen is back and fit, let's see how it goes from there. But at the moment, it's looking very very grim
Okay,
for
thanks.
Wolves.
So Achike, they sold Aït-Nouri and Cunha for £100 million. Do you think they could have done better with the replacements they signed?
Yeah, that is the problem. No, yes, they could have done much better, and this has been the problem over the past couple of years. They've
Yeah,
sold
with the Fosun
players
Group.
and they've not replaced them properly. I mean, remember when I think before Jimenez left or whoever it was that they got that Fabio Silva, is that his name? The guy with
Yeah,
20
yeah,
hair
the
that they never
young
did
guy,
it, and they
yeah.
paid 30
Yeah,
million for him. And it's just been, I mean, I remember when they first came up, what they had is it Doherty on one side. What was that other left fullback on that side that were giving FPL points that year? I've forgotten his name. He looked like an old guy, almost had anyway. he had one of those single Portuguese type single names. Anyway, so João Neves, no sorry, Ruben Neves, Jota, Jimenez. I mean, look at the players we're calling, even Conor Cody. They had a solid team and they had a couple of great years under Nuno. Another situation of they probably went as far as they went. Even fans were like, let's play a bit more exciting. When they were coming, was it not 7th, or was it 8th? It now started dropping to 10th, 13th. That because the owners are thinking, hey, we've gotten this money for these players. We can't spend it all. Let's make some profit and then get players that are not as good, but the managers are not as good. It's a sad situation to see because I like Wolves as a club.
Oh yeah, so the guy you're talking about on Johnny Otto.
Yeah, we had those boys. Johnny, the left wing back. It was Doherty one side, Johnny the other side. Fantasy League gold. Then Bolly as well. Bolly and Doherty in the middle, and then Conor Cody, Doherty and Cody. And then it's just been going.
Yeah.
They've been trying to do that Portuguese league reject type guy thing, and it's not really worked out for them. And it's just a sad slump. And I mean, they will be the main reason that at least one of the promoted clubs stays up this season. And it's sad to see. And then when it comes to Leeds, I'm a Man United fan. I hate Leeds. I hope they get relegated every year for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, so I'm talking about Leeds real quick. And then okay, Ebuka, and you can respond if I speak to Uche. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to Leeds, right? Anton Stark, what a buy. I've always tracked him when he was at Hoffenheim, playing alongside Tom Bischoff in that Hoffenheim midfield. What a signing.
They're part of the Red Bull family now, I think, Leeds, right? Mm-hmm. They're sponsored by Red Bull, yeah.
Yes, they're part of the Red Bull family. Yeah, so he's been great. He's been superb, Anton Stark. And then Ao Tanaka, the guy, I think he was part of the team that won the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, so they won the AFC Champions League. Yeah, I think so. With Kawasaki. Yeah, Kawasaki Frontal. And from there he came to Leeds, and since then he's been so that Leeds midfield. I mean, really, really good. And Daniel Fark. I told someone the other day, right? I would actually have preferred Daniel Fark as in managing Manchester United than Amorim. Seriously. Because the championship, I consider the championship a very, very strong league and dominating the championship year after year after year. I mean, he's done a great job. He did a great job with Norway. He did the same thing with Leeds. And so the question I initially had about Leeds was, do they have that striker that would score those goals? But then seeing Noah Okafor yesterday, seeing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Noah Okafor with Syria experience, the Calvert-Lewin Premier League experience, putting 3 past moves, for me was a surprise. So if they're able to get those goals coming from their forward positions, I think Leeds might stay
Fair enough. So let's go to the next fixture. Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. So Uche, what are your thoughts on Postecoglou taking over the Nottingham Forest job?
Well, I think it's too early to say what he's doing, especially because he wasn't the one who oversaw the transfer windows.
Mm-hmm.
His first game against Arsenal, you heard what he said in the press conference. He said he was almost ready to say, I let them do what they are used to, and this is the result. That was nearly what he was saying. So I expect a lot of changes over the next couple of weeks. But then again, Ange should realize that he's under a very volatile owner in Mariakanis.
Yeah, Mariakanis, yeah.
So he needs to stop all the ideology shit he tried to pull with Spurs and just get into it. Already, I'm not sure they had a very fantastic summer. I'm not very sure.
Yeah, but the players that came in the summer came for Nuno Espirito Santo. So obviously they have to wait a bit.
Exactly. So now he has a lot of work to do. And he has to use those players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too early to judge him, but his first point of call is stability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I don't think they should be drawing Burnley.
I'm actually waiting for the fallout, the great fallout between Marinakis and Postecoglou. it would be a media. It would be something for the
And
ages.
they are
I'm
both very
telling
dramatic
you,
people.
it would be something for the
Yeah,
ages.
and they're both Spartans, so you'll be all right.
Both
Ebuka,
dramatic people.
okay, so Ebuka, looking at Burnley,
Uh,
do you think they have what it takes to stay up?
no,
Why?
no, they don't. They're gonna do everything they can at home, right? They're gonna like okay, put in the effort at Toughmore. Couple of signings, right? But then up front, do they really have that focal point? I think who they have currently is just Lyle
Yeah.
Foster. Aside that, yeah, Jaden Anthony is doing his best, scoring the goals, but it's tough more. Yeah, they're gonna put up a fight, but then it's away from home, right? Yeah, I think 3 goals against Spurs, another 3 goals against United away from home. So I don't just see it in them. And yesterday it was more of like as in Dubravka making save
Yeah.
after save
Was
after
on
save.
fire, actually.
So how long is that going to happen? Yeah, like I think he made seven saves or eight
Yeah.
Yeah.
saves. So it was basically an onslaught at Toughmore, but yeah, Dubravka just managed to as in ensure Burnley left that game with a draw. But staying up, not enough quality to get the job done.
Actually,
So
what do you feel about that?
I'm going to put it out to the jury for a bit, yeah, because they made one of the buys. I think was one of my most interesting buys of the summer. It was this DM from Benfica, Florentino.
Luis.
Luis,
Florentino Luis.
Yeah, because in my opinion, he was
I
one
love
of the,
that boy.
if not the best defensive midfielder in the Portuguese league over the past couple of seasons. I
FM,
think him
FM,
and
FM, FM, FM.
you know, him and Humland were two of the DMs I wanted Man United to get from Portugal. But the thing with Burnley is, I think, yeah, they might have a chance of staying up. I'll give it another 5 games if they get that midfield balance. Florentino, Ugochukwu, and the other guy, I've forgotten his name.
Cullen.
If Cullen,
Yeah.
that midfield is a better midfield 3 than many other teams that we think will stay up. So if they can solidify that and get a few goals in, they might be a surprise team to stay up.
Yeah, but the question is where would the goals come from?
I mean,
Like that's it. That's the question.
That
if you
midfield,
don't
that
concede,
midfield is very hardworking, but they don't create much.
I know, but if you don't concede,
Yeah.
you can't lose a game. You can score and lose, but if you don't concede, you can never lose.
Yeah, true. So let's go to
Yeah, but then Burnley has been conceding.
For now,
Right, I said this
Florentino
already,
came late.
so-
He came
let's
after
see how
transfer
it
window,
goes.
and
Yeah,
Ugochukwu got a red card against. Look at the first game that both would have played, and Florentino came on was the Liverpool game, which they only considered in the 90-something minute. I can't remember.
yeah,
Think about
true.
it.
Okay, so let's go to the next fixture,
Yeah,
which
penalty.
is Fulham Brentford. So Fulham is a very interesting team. Ebuka, Craven Cottage is a ground that many teams fear to come, right? And Brentford were obviously on the end of it. Do you think that this home advantage is something that is going to keep helping Fulham as they progress in the campaign? And will it take them all the way to Europe this season?
Fulham, Marco Silva is a very good manager. Very good manager. I think it was said as in there's something I saw this record that in terms of as in substitutes that have come on to like change the course of a game. Fulham are number 1,
Yeah.
right? Because last season so many of the substitutes came on in games. I think even in the game against United, right? As in Emil Smith Rowe came and they have scored. So yeah, he's a manager who understands game states and knows when to make the required changes when needed. For Craven Cottage, right? I think the opening couple of fixtures for Fulham were good. I think after the first game, the next 4 games, they had 3 games at home, of which they've been able to at least get 1 draw and 3 wins, right? So it's very important. Like the home form and what it is they do at home will be very important to how the season progresses. In terms of signings, right? There's one signing that I'm really looking forward to.
Kevin, the winger, yeah?
A superb,
Yeah,
superb
from
player.
Shakhtar.
Yeah, so is he injured? How come he hasn't really played?
Yeah, exactly. No, he's not injured. So he was on the bench. I think he was on the bench.
They want to ease him in, yeah?
I don't know if he came on. Yeah, I don't know if he came on, but then That Fulham core, right? They've been working as in together for a very long time. It will be Harry Wilson, Rodrigo Muniz. I think he's taking
From
back
Jimenez,
the center forward slot from Jimenez, and then they've got the
Josh
young
King,
Josh
yeah.
King, who is quality. George King is quality, and behind George King, they've got two midfielders who are very good in Sasa Lukic
And
and
Sanderberg,
Sanderberg.
yeah. Just,
So I think they've got that core in place,
mhm.
right? They've got that very good core. Didn't like let did sell much of their players this
Yeah.
summer, and yeah, the game against Brentford was something that got to show us that you know what, okay, they might go behind, but then they've got what it takes to get back in the game, right? And then when you have Alex Iwobi on form just like he did yesterday, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there was
I love that his
definitely
pass to
something.
Wilson. That was a very good assist.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more of what how much more they can do at home. It will be very very critical to see where they finish in the league
Okay, so
positions.
actually, to Brentford, they lost Thomas Frank, they lost Christian Nogard, they lost Buemo, they lost Visa. Do you think they have done enough to replace those guys, or do you think they'll
Um,
struggle a lot this season?
I mean, so losing Mbeumo, let me call it, they got Watara. Losing Wissa, they got their guy they got last year, but was injured the whole of last year. What's
Yeah,
his
he
name?
got Thiago.
You got Thiago. They have a real leader in Jordan Henderson for Damsgaard, not Damsgaard,
Yeah,
Norgard, sorry.
Nogard. Yeah.
They got an upgrade, in my opinion, in
not that.
goalkeeper in Kevin Kelleher from Liverpool.
From Flecken.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah, it was
it's
an
open.
upgrade.
It's
Definitely,
open to interpretation. I mean,
definitely
Flecken is
was an
way
upgrade.
more experienced, but in the games where Kelleher came in for Allison, he
Liverpool.
didn't look out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
place. He didn't look out of
True.
place.
Yeah,
So
true.
that's where I'm looking for. So it's one of those things. And then they lost their manager, but they're a system club so far from what we've seen. They're a system club. So as long as they promoted in-house, Thomas Frank himself was promoted from in-house. He was Dean Smith's assistant manager. And then he
Yeah.
was promoted to manager when Dean Smith went to Aston Villa. I
Mhm.
mean, I think they'll be all right, but it's one of those situations where I think they're one injury away from a bit of a crisis. That's my
Yeah.
only fear. I don't think their squad is that big in quality. And if you remember correctly, unless I'm mistaken,
Yeah, that
Vissa and Mbuemo like played every game last season. They
Yeah.
literally played
Without
like
injuries.
36 of the 38 games or something like that. So it's an interesting one.
Mhm.
About the Fulham thing, it's so interesting. I'm torn on Michael Silva because I understand Ibuka's point of he brings on subs and all that, but doesn't that also indicate that maybe he doesn't know how to pick the team to start well with in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
That
mean,
possibly.
can
it's
Yeah,
just an angle,
it
it's
is.
just a different angle, it's an interesting one because
Yeah, you could say that.
sometimes
yeah.
when you pick a team and you bring on subs and they score and like, oh my god, this team scored the most goals. Like for example now, Pedro Muniz, good player. I think he's meant to be a sub. There were many games he started last year that he
And it
didn't score.
was terrible. Yeah.
But some players, like the way with Arsenal, I know we didn't discuss it in that game, but like with Martinelli now, it's interesting about the whole starters and finishes thing. Like sometimes some players, someone like Martinelli who likes to run at defenders, he might be better coming on when the defenders are a little bit more tired, not
Yeah.
when they have matching energy levels. It's an interesting one, I
Okay,
guess,
I
but it's,
agree.
it's the coach's job to figure it out. And if they're getting the results, it works.
Yeah, that's a good dynamic. Okay, Uche, let's go to you on this one. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. So Newcastle, I think they have the best defense, or close to the best defense in the Premier League this season, alongside Arsenal and Spurs. What's your take on life after Alexander Isak with them? Do you think both Mali and Bisa will have enough in the tank to, lead them to glory in both the Champions League and the Premier League?
Yeah, first of all, sadly, Isa is out for a long time.
Yeah, like 6 weeks or so. Yeah,
It's a long time, 6 weeks. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
So then, secondly, Wolte is a very good player, but I worry that Newcastle's won't play to his strength. That's my worry. But then again, he's a very young player, so Eddie Howe has all the time to mold him into the kind of striker that will fit the system. When they wanted to go for Ekitike, I understood it. Ekitike plays somewhat like Isak in the sense that he's comfortable with the ball to fit anywhere across the forward line. He can run across. He can play off another striker. But Woltemade is a different breed. You
target
have
man.
to.
Yeah.
He's a target man who plays on the shoulder of the last man. A very specific type of striker. So again, I worry. And Newcastle, you know how they play, very physical. everybody is involved in the physicality. That's the second part I worry about. But then again, let's be honest. Strikers with lesser status have come and done better. So
True.
it's all about how do you justify the investment? That's a 70 million pound investment. And I don't think any manager will wake up one day and say, oh, he's not working and they'll clap for him. You have to make it work. And
I
right
agree.
now, I'm not sure it's really working. Although time has not happened enough for us to say it's not working.
I agree. Okay, so Ebuka, what are your thoughts on Antoine Semenyo's performance this season? Has he grown to talismanic status within Bournemouth?
Hmm. I think yeah, he has because like I remember, I really did not rate Semenyo that highly, but then going into this season, I can see why so many clubs actually wanted him. He's strong, he's physical, he can run, he's got the engine, shoots with both feet, right? And it's been I think keeping him right, Bournemouth keeping Semenyo was very important, right, to their chances of getting into Europe this season. Semenyo is a brilliant player, but one thing I would like to touch on Bournemouth is the manager, right? Andoni
Mm-hmm.
Raiola lost like literally his whole
Yeah.
back line. Routine. So in terms of resourcefulness, right? I would say he's
Yeah.
right up there. He's right up there. Goes about the business, gets things done, and yeah, I think yeah, if they continue the way they have this season, although I know the fixtures have kind of like been kind to
True.
them, and Iraola is known for like fading into the latter part of the season, but if they could keep this up and not fade into the later part of the season, I think yeah, they're going to make Europe. I'm not taking away the fact that there's this player also in Bournemouth, Alex
Mm-hmm.
Scott, brilliant player, very good player.
Ridiculous player.
Like yeah, he's literally the connector, right, between defense and attack for Bournemouth. And then, yeah, David Brooks. I remember David Brooks, like way back when he was one of my FPL top players. He's back, and yes, he's been so good. But in terms of chance creation, right, they've been creating those chances, but Evan Nielsen has not just clicked. He's not. He's been giving those balls, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I
Yeah.
think he's got his XG for yesterday. As in, he had a very high XG, but was unable to convert all the big chances that he was given. So I hope he finds his scoring boot, which I think he's going to, especially away from home. Like he's pretty
Yeah,
decent
and
away from home.
last season, he also
But
underperformed his XG as well. So, Chike, let's talk about
yeah,
the
exactly.
defense. You lose Kekes, you get Truffet. You lose Kepa and Neto, you get Petrovic. You lose Hausen, you bring Diakite. You lose Zabani, you reinstate Senesi back to the side. What's your take on that overhaul at the Bournemouth backline, and how have you seen them do it? Are they really gelled well together in your opinion?
I mean, watching them the first game against Liverpool, it was interesting because it was Liverpool, and then watching them, I've only watched 3 of their games fully, or no, 2 I think fully, because I didn't watch the Newcastle game fully and all that. I find it interesting. You see, at that level in the table, yeah, in the Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford level of club, right?
Mhm.
It's easier to replace your players because the gap between the player you had and the player you get isn't that much. But the
Mm,
price difference of which you sell them to a bigger club or buy them from a smaller club is very huge. Like I
true.
think getting from Kerkez to Trophy, yeah. I've forgotten how much they bought Kerkez, but they bought Trophy how much? 12 million or something like that. And
12 million,
they sold Kerkez for
14
40
million.
million. The gap between Kerkez and Trophy is not that much.
True.
You understand? So
Exactly.
but
I agree.
if let's say if Arsenal sell a left back, the expectations are you must be bringing in a quality left back of the 30, 40, 50 million bracket and all that. So, I mean, they are the kind of club that can have the manager they have. Because if you remember when Raiola came, I think they didn't win in their first 8 games
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
they
like that.
struggled. I remember. Yes,
They
initially.
didn't win. They didn't get their first win until October of the
Yes,
season he came.
yes. I remember.
Chelsea, Man U have 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses, and we are saying that their manager's in trouble.
Yeah,
No, it's true now.
Please let's not go back there. Let's
It's
not go
true
back there.
now. Imagine if clubs don't get a win till October. So it's about sometimes like he I want to point out the kind of manager he is because people are always putting him on for a bigger club and all that. If you get to a bigger club, like if you went to Spurs, the same way with Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank won one of his first 8 games as Brentford manager in the Championship. If he tried that with Spurs, they will sack him. They will sack him.
Yeah,
the media, the fans will not let it happen. So I think he's one of those managers that he's at his level where it is. He's doing well. If the club continue their system of recruiting properly, like Zabanyi, I'm sorry, between me and you, Zabanyi was above Bournemouth's level in my opinion. I've been buying him in football manager since he was a teenager. When I saw him in Bournemouth, I was like, whoa. But then again, it's the Premier League. They have money. Bournemouth has taken players from AC Milan.
Yeah.
Players AC Milan.
No, for left AC Milan to lead.
Yeah, to lead. So it's a crazy situation where, Irreola, because Unai Emery went through that kind of thing as well. He's a system type of manager, thinks it'll be okay. After his Arsenal, but people are like, oh my God. But then look at what he does with teams that are just a strata. But I mean, Bournemouth are one of those teams that they will get some great results because they can bloody the big boys' noses. But overall quality in the long term, still mid-table for me.
Yeah,
I give them 9th or 10th.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let's talk about the last fixture of the Premier League, and I'll go with you, Buka. Finally, they have scored a goal. This is we need to go and give thanks.
And I had him in my FPL team until Sunderland scored with 10 men. So the thing about Sunderland is, I knew they recruited well. Like in terms of recruitment in the Premier League, the mix between youth and experience.
Yes.
Exactly, Alderete, Mukiele. So they brought in those old heads, right? And Reggie Lebris is one manager I've always followed from his time with Lorient in the French league, right? And immediately he came to Sunderland, and then he got Enzo Lefi. I remember on the WhatsApp group I was in, I said Sunderland are coming up because Reggie Lebris is
not only Reggie Lebris, you've been talking about Lefe for many years. I'll give you that one. You've liked that guy for many years. Yeah, there was a time you wanted him to come to Man U.
To United, I wanted Enzo Lefi. There was a time I wanted him to come to
before
United.
He went to Roma, I think.
The fact he went to Sunderland, he went to Rome, from Lorient to Roma, then from Roma to Sunderland. I mean, Lefi, Xhaka, Diarra, Habib Diarra. Super. Diarra is one player I would, like, we're going for Baliba. I would take a Diarra above Baliba. I'm sorry to say. I would take a Diarra because, apart from cheap, he plays exactly like N'Golo Kante.
3 long.
He plays like Kante. Exactly. And then you have Noah Sadiki, who, like, his exploits with Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian league last season. I think he was among the players of the season. He was among the 11 from the Belgian league. So the recruitment in midfield, young players, coupled with Xhaka, who's that old experienced head, right? And then at the back, right, what they literally did was, okay, you know what? For the left back and the 2 center backs, we're gonna go with experience. Reinildo, Atletico Madrid, Mukiele, and Alderete from Getafe. So they've got a stable core. Now, where the issue is in attack, right? Where they have Isidore, but Isidore
is doing very well now.
Yeah, he's doing great. And looking at because I actually sat down to watch that game, and I'm like, you can't be a promoted side. You play with 10 men and still push Aston Villa this far. Like, it's just incredible. It is incredible. And even with 10 men, Sunderland, they actually had more shots on target with 10 men than Villa, who are the
surprisingly so.
It's just so. Previously, I was like, okay, Sunderland, will they survive? But right now, like, I will definitely say, yeah, they've got a couple of fixtures, like difficult fixtures. I think for match day 9, they've got a really difficult fixture. So their season, I would say, would be defined around those fixtures that they have. I think from game week 10 to game week 18, where they play the top half of the league.
And this reminds me of Wigan. When Wigan had those good games, Brentford went to second, and they played Man U, Chelsea, and Liverpool, and you already lost every
exactly. Liverpool, Spurs in a row. Same thing is going to happen to Sunderland. And the way they manage those games and how they get out of those games and the points they're going to accrue, I think if they come out unscathed, I think it will set them up for at least
Mid-table,
top
yeah.
half of bottom half of the table. Not mid table, but it's the bottom half, but the top half
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
bottom
yeah,
half
yeah. Like, okay,
of the
like
table.
where Man U is right now, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, actually, let's talk Villa. What's going on with Nigeria and his lads? Like, how come they just can't get any goal from anywhere? Like, what's going on? They have the attacking talent to match. So, what do you think is going on?
They have the attacking talent, but I think they say mentality is also a part of it. There, I think they went so hard for that Champions League last season. Then that their dreadful result against United last day of the season didn't make the Champions League. Their PSR issues. I don't know. I mean, the manager is a manager I rate and respect, but the team just don't look like they have it. And it's interesting because all their players, well, not all, but players went away on international duty and did quite well, and then came back in the Villa shirt, and it was just crazy. I really don't. But they're a big enough squad and a good enough manager that I think these first 5 games is just a bump in the road and they should be fine, personally.
Yeah, just to add to what Akika said for Villa, right? I think Unai Emery needs to make a
What
change
kind of change?
because when Harvey Elliott came on, Villa were more attacking. They created more chances. They got more balls into the box. Harvey Elliott was just up to his thing, right? Starting the game with Emil Buendia, he's really not that guy. Like, he's really not that guy. I don't think Emil Buendia should be starting games for Villa going forward. So they could have Morgan Rogers and then flanked by Eva Guesson and Harvey Elliott, then with Watkins up front.
Yeah, but
I think
what about Sancho?
no. So Sancho literally, let's see. I never liked Sancho, so I didn't want to talk about Sancho and what he did with United, right? But I don't think he should be starting games because I think he should come up as in he should come in 2 games, right? Depending on the game state, and finish games. He was a little bit decent today when he came on, but I would say, you started to have Elliott in your next 2 game. You gotta start with
Okay.
Elliott.
Okay, so let's go to the surprise of the week. And what we do here is basically to talk about what surprised you in the game week. My own surprise was Manchester United winning at Chelsea for obvious reasons. So I'll go through the match.
Is that
The
surprise?
surprise.
Is that surprise? Man, we've done this thing for the past. They've not won at Old Trafford for the past
12 years.
13
Yeah,
It's
years.
really not surprising.
But there was still form. There was still issue of form, right?
Yeah, but the
No,
history
no.
books was saying otherwise. You
No,
know.
no, history is history, but to me, it was form. So I want to get your take. And if you can forget about this game, what actually was your surprise this game week? That's how it actually.
Leeds defeating Wolves. 3 goals past Wolves at the Molineux. Never expected it.
Yeah, fair
Never
enough.
did.
What about you, actually?
Considering the fact that Leeds had only scored a penalty in their previous
Oh,
4 games.
yeah, from Lucas
Like,
Mecha against Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
same goes for me.
Was-
The lead result was the shocking one. Away
okay.
from home, 3 goals, a worldie,
Yeah, I love that free kick from Stark. That was
a
amazing.
worldie.
Yeah, but then
So,
again, the Wolves goal was lovely to the build up to it and all that. It was nice.
mm.
She lost. So, Chike, what about you? Did you concur with Ebuka and Uche?
Yes, that was the most surprising one, especially because I think Wolves scored first now.
Yeah, they scored
as
first.
well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Overall, yeah. Because when those updates were coming up, I was like, oh, that wasn't expected. So that was quite a surprise.
Okay, so let's look at injury watch. So in game week 5, we had 5 injuries. Christian Somerville for West Ham, Noah Okafor, Jaden Bogu, Yessi Mosquera, and Nico O'Reilly. So what I usually like the panelists say is that for these injuries you see here, which ones would affect the team the most? Actually,
Maybe Noah Okafor.
yeah. What about you, Ebuka?
For me, I think it's Jaden Bogu because they've created quite a lot as in with him playing right back. With him and Willie Nonto, right? Tried to connect on that right hand side of Leeds. They quite created a couple of chances with Jaden Bogu in. How would that be going forward? I don't really know because I can't even think of a replacement for Leeds at this point. But I think, Jaden Bogu. If I were the opposition, I would be looking at, okay, you know what? Let's get down that right hand side of Leeds and see how.
Okay,
it can work.
so when he got injured, they brought in James Justin. Remember they signed him from Leicester. and Justin is quite decent.
Seriously? I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
they signed him
that.
from Leicester.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
So, Uchi, what about you?
Yeah, it's looking like Noah Okafor. I was really pulling for him, but something is certain there. Nobody's going to miss Somerville. He shouldn't. He's not a Premier League player.
By the way,
That's,
sorry, I've just gotten an update. Too. Ateta said Madueke had an issue,
oh,
That's
wow.
why. That's why he was taking off.
so make una
Yeah,
allow the
because
coach.
Whoa.
Allow the
where I
coach
was
to
watching
coach.
the game, I told somebody that it should have been Trossard coming off.
No. Trossard shouldn't have come up because
Wow.
defensively, Trossard
Was
they track
helping.
well on that side. Though. That dirty
That's the
Bernardo Silva
point.
side.
That's
That
exactly the
dirty
point
Bernardo
I'm
Silva
making.
side.
Yeah.
We didn't need to come in that second half playing anything defensive. It should have been the two wing forwards pinning the fullbacks back. So
Yeah,
immediately
fair.
I didn't see Noni. I said it has to be something because Noni was the best attacker in the first half for Arsenal.
Yeah,
But
fair.
then Arsenal is lucky. Saka is back, right? So
Yeah, they can manage it well. I
they
agree.
can manage. Yeah, they can.
So let's look at the players of the week. My contenders were Ryan Gravenberch, who scored a
Gravenberch.
goal and had an assist against Everton. My second contender was Anton Stark, who also scored a goal and had an assist against Wolves. And of course, Alex Iwobi, who scored a goal and had an assist against Brentford. So my panelists, besides these three players, were there any other players in the game week that were outstanding to you? I'll start with you, Achike.
Kudus. It's always
Yeah.
a joy to watch. I just love watching that guy. That guy, even though he's Ghanaian, but it's okay. I just love watching that guy.
Okay, Ebuka, what about you?
I couldn't go further than Anton Stark. He always been my boy. Always been my boy. Like, as in literally, he demanded for someone to rise up to the occasion, and he did so for me. So for me, Anton
Okay.
Stark.
What about you, MC?
So if the City game had finished 1-0, I would have been calling on Donnarumma,
Donnarumma.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Alongside Stark.
Wow.
But I think I don't know if you can actually fault Donnarumma for the goal, but because of the way the finish came, you wouldn't help but argue that the keeper was on his line. It may have been a different story. So that's it. So it has to be Stark. Then I won't lie to you. I'm also it has to be Stark, it has to be Gravenberch. I can't see past those two players. I'm sorry.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go to the table. In the bottom half right now, we have Wolves struggling as expected, 5 L's. We have West Ham with them and the setting Aston Villa that has basically been very disappointing. 5 games played so far, no wins and just one goal. At the 11th spot right now is Manchester United, courtesy of the win they had against Chelsea. And of course, in the top half, Liverpool is head and shoulders above everyone with 15 points, while Arsenal, Tottenham, and Bournemouth, interestingly, Bournemouth are in 10 points. So my question to the panelists here is, which teams do you see in this top half that potentially drop to the bottom half? Achike.
As in at the end of the season,
Yeah.
Bournemouth, Palace, Sunderland, Fulham.
Okay, Ibuka, what about you?
Yeah, same here. No. Well, with the exception of Bournemouth, but I think Palace. Palace might just finish outside, probably 11th place due to their European
Mm-hmm.
commitment. Definitely, yeah, Sunderland and
Okay,
Fulham.
Uche.
Um, I would say Sunderland, but I believe they would survive the season. And then again, I would say maybe Palace. Maybe Palace, but that's just because I think Glasner is going to take a bit of while to get his team running. And I'm looking at their fixtures. When they start meeting those people that you know, but Sunderland, I'm very sure of. Everton, Everton too may slide off, but I believe at the end of the season they would finish very comfortably. But whatever we say
Of
now is
Okay,
just
course.
you see
temporary,
that
right?
yes,
Of
It's just
course.
Just like
five
just like
games.
this
yeah.
season.
Maybe by the
Absolutely.
exactly. By the time we get into November, we'll start having a clearer picture of what
Okay,
is going on.
so let's
Personally,
go
okay,
ahead,
sorry. No,
Achike.
go on.
No,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, no, no. I was
No,
just going to say that if we're talking about fixtures, like from the 25th of October, yeah, till I think what January 17th. Man United fixtures are fantastic. I was going to tell
yeah.
Ebuka that I was talking about fixtures. If you start looking at fixtures, I mean, Man United played Liverpool away on 19th October. After that, it's Brighton, Forest, Spurs, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle, Wolves again, Leeds, Burnley, before Man City. About 12, 13, 14 games. That, I can only two there. The away games at Spurs and Newcastle. Am I scared of? So it's an interesting time.
Okay.
Fixtures are very interesting because Sunderland, look at how they've started this season now. Look how Sunderland started the season. Their fixtures have been fantastic. You understand what I mean? Which was why they knew they had to do well this period.
Yeah.
They had what? West Ham,
Yeah.
Burnley, Brentford, Palace, Villa.
Palace.
Yeah, fair enough. But then again, they don't just kill through by the scruff of their neck, but they've been doing well so far.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the final section where I will call a fixture and I want the panelists to give me what they think will be the scoreline. So Brentford, Man United, Achike,
Brentford, Man United, 1-2.
Ibuka, Uche.
2-2.
Okay, he has dropped out because of network. Chelsea, Brighton, Achike,
Yeah, he's dropped.
2-2.
Ibuka.
3-1. Chelsea wins.
Okay, Uche, welcome back. So we're talking about the prediction from the panelists, and I've gotten the feedback from Achike and Ibuka on two fixtures. So you need to
Please
catch
be
up.
writing it down so we can attack it next time.
yeah.
He knows. Doyen knows. I said it. Brentford is on Man U. I'm
but-
telling you. It's not yet
Okay, so Uche, for Brentford Man U, what's your prediction?
That game should end 2-2.
Okay, Chelsea Brighton.
Chelsea Brighton. That's a very interesting fixture. But I expect goals in that fixture.
Okay.
I would say Chelsea should win by 3-1.
Okay, so the third fixture here, Crystal Palace Liverpool, Achike,
0-3.
Ebuka.
Wow, that's bold.
Oh, that was bold.
That's very bold. That's very bold.
Very
Okay,
bold.
what about you, Ebuka?
So I actually think it's going to be a 1-1.
Okay, Uche.
I think Liverpool will just make it 2-1.
Okay, so
I don't think Liverpool is not defeating Palace, bro.
So on the chat, Charles thinks that Man U win Brentford, and you also think that Chelsea win Brighton. Why do he believes that Palace will lose to Liverpool if Sarr is not back? Fair enough. So the first fixture here, Leeds, Bournemouth, Achike.
Ooh, that looks like one that could go either way, but I think Bournemouth have the superior team, so I'm thinking something like 0-2.
Ebuka.
0-3.
Uche.
Bournemouth wins.
For that fixture, I'll give it to Bournemouth as well. But I'm backing on Leeds to score 1 goal. So let's say 1-3.
Okay, so Charles on the chat predicted Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 1. So we'll go to the fifth fixture, Man City Burnley, Achike.
4-0.
Ebuka.
Yo,
A whole Scott Packers Burnley.
What about you, Uche?
I mean, they considered 3 to United, considered 3 to Spurs. City City drew today, so City is looking for the 3 points, and they will get it in the emphatic style. They face Burnley.
Right? Nottingham Forest, Sunderland, Achike.
1-1.
Ebuka.
This is gonna be tough, but I think Sunderland is gonna nick this 2-1.
Uche.
So I call it 2-all. 2-all.
Yeah, so Doye says that he's going to triple captain Haaland in that game.
No, we all are, bro. Like we all are, bro.
Universe, right?
Why?
Yeah. Oh wow. So Charles saying that Burnley will get one goal. He's saying 4-1. I think
What?
it's
There's no, there's no way.
it be a clean
I don't
sheet.
see
It
Bonnie
be a
getting
clean
one
sheet.
goal.
I think it be a clean sheet. All right, Achike, Tottenham Wolves.
Ooh, Tottenham Wolves. Ha. Tottenham have a midweek game, right? So this game could be like 2-1. I think Wolves will score first.
Ibuka.
Yeah, defenders will be tired.
Bro, that game. Spurs 4, Wolves nil.
Uche.
3-1.
And just like Doye, Babajide is going to triple captain Haaland against Burnley.
It's worldwide, bro. It's worldwide people captain. And when you halls and you don't, you are all
Yeah,
together.
I will now come back to Ikenibu, our home. Okay. Aston Villa, Fulham, Achike.
Villa at home to get their first win of the season, 2-1.
Ibuka.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think Fulham's gonna score first, but then Villa to nick it 3-1.
Okay. Uche.
I'm going to go with something different. I expect Fulham to not lose that game. I'm going to say Fulham to Aston Villa 2.
Okay, so Charles in the chat talking about a 3-1 win for Wolves. For Spurs, sorry, against Wolves. Okay, so Achike, Newcastle, Arsenal.
2-0.
Okay, Ibuka.
That's it. 2-0. Get the job done.
No, Newcastle.
Wait, 2-0
Two
in
for
favor
who?
of
Two for
who?
who? Newcastle, Arsenal.
For Arsenal. Arsenal
I'm
is
saying
gonna
Newcastle.
clean sheet. You guys say Newcastle win Arsenal
At St. James
2-0.
Park, yeah.
Well,
It's at St. James Park, right?
yeah.
Oh,
After
my
something
God.
last season, though. So, yeah,
It's
and
at St. James Park, right?
Anthony
Gordon is
Should I
back,
tell you
right?
why? Should I tell you why Arsenal? Okay,
No
I'm sorry, but let me tell you why.
You wanted
Let's
to tell
tell
why
why
we just
Arsenal
made our
don't
predictions.
finish
It's okay. I said it's
Okay.
at St. James
No,
Park.
no, it's a
Newcastle to
prediction.
win
It's
2-0.
fine. Uche, what about you?
Newcastle beat Arsenal 3 times last season. Correct? It's not going to happen this season. Arsenal is going to win that game. I will say Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, same with Charles in the chat. Then of course the last fixture of the last fixture of the game week, which is Everton West Ham. Achike.
Everton 3, West Ham 0. David Moyes return. Potter sacked afterwards. Be careful what you wish for, West Ham fans.
Haha. Ibuka.
So I think by then they'll get a new manager.
Wow.
I think West Ham is going to get a new manager by then.
Yes.
And it's going to be a 1-0 draw.
Uche.
I see Everton beating West Ham. But if Potter is still on the job, I'm going to tip West Ham to win. Just because football loves poetry. If Potter is not on the job,
I like your thinking. Uche, I like your way.
it's an Everton win.
The narrative is key.
It's very key. If Potter is on the job, he knows he has to do everything. Even if they are telling him after this game you are going, he wants to just beat Moyes and go with his pride. So it will be very key. But if not, Everton, fantastic football. Iliman and Diaye, Dewsbury Hall, Jack Grealish. I love that. I love that trio.
Yeah, so
Wait, what's his name? Tyler Diblin coming in.
Yeah. So
Tyler Diblin is still there. I love that attack, man.
Yeah, a 3-1 win with Potter getting sacked. Okay, so we've come to the end of today's stream. Of course, my panelists, Achike, Buka, Uche, thank you so much for being part of this. To all the guys in the chat, thank you so much for your comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next stream. So till then, stay safe, man. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Good night, guys.
Bye.